Success is something many of us want, but often feel just out of reach. It's not about luck or a secret formula, it's about the choices we make every day. Imagine waking up with a clear sense of purpose, feeling strong and confident to handle whatever comes your way. Picture yourself building habits that bring steady progress even when things get tough. This kind of success is possible for anyone willing to take control and make small changes that add up over time. In this guide, you'll discover simple, practical steps to attract success into your life. You'll learn how to focus on what truly matters, face your fears, and push through challenges with courage. We'll talk about why surrounding yourself with the right people matters, how to protect your energy, and why celebrating even the smallest wins keeps you motivated. This isn't just about quick fixes or empty promises. It's about building real strength inside you, the kind that helps you grow and keep going no matter what. If you're ready to stop wishing and start doing, keep going, because what you'll find here can change how you live every single day. Chapter 1. Build a clear purpose that drives your daily actions. Success doesn't begin with talent, money, or even opportunity. It begins with clarity. Without a clear purpose, your energy scatters, your mind drifts, and your actions lose their weight. You can go through the motions every day and still feel like you're getting nowhere. That's because movement without meaning is not progress. It's exhaustion. But once you build a purpose so clear that it drives your thoughts and decisions, everything begins to shift. Your day becomes sharper. Your mind gains direction. Your life starts to align. Building a clear purpose is not about finding some grand destiny written in the stars. It's about deciding, with intention and honesty, what truly matters to you. Purpose is not something you wait to discover. It's something you choose to live by. And when you do, you stop waking up confused or unsure. You stop reacting to life and start shaping it. The world will try to distract you with endless noise, false urgency, and the pressure to do what everyone else is doing. If you don't have a clear reason for your actions, you'll follow whatever pulls at your attention in the moment. But the mind without purpose is like a ship without a compass. It moves, but it never arrives. To build purpose, begin with truth. Ask yourself, what do I want my life to stand for? Not just what do I want to achieve, but what kind of person do I want to be every day? Who do I want to become through my actions, not just my dreams? The answers won't be flashy, they won't come with applause, but they will be honest, and that honesty is the seed of real direction. Purpose is not found in one big moment. It's revealed through small decisions repeated with intention. It grows stronger every time you say no to what's easy and yes to what's meaningful. It sharpens every time you choose effort over comfort. It becomes clearer every time you reflect on your actions and ask yourself if they match who you want to become. A purpose must be personal. It cannot be borrowed or copied. It's not built from comparison or envy. It must rise from your own values, from what deeply matters to you, even if no one else understands it. When your purpose comes from within, it becomes unshakable. It doesn't fade when life gets hard. It becomes your anchor in the chaos. Once you identify your purpose, the next step is to align your daily actions with it. This is where most people fail. Not because they lack good intentions, but because they don't build a system around them. Purpose without structure remains a wish. It never becomes a force in your life until you attach it to your routines, your choices, and your schedule. This alignment happens in the details. If your purpose is to become mentally strong, then you build habits that challenge your thinking. If your purpose is to lead with kindness, then you shape your reactions to people and situations. If your purpose is to live with discipline, then you make small daily sacrifices that train your character. Every decision, no matter how small, becomes an opportunity to reinforce who you are and who you're becoming. Clarity makes it easier to say no. When you know what matters most, you stop chasing everything that doesn't. You stop wasting time explaining yourself to people who don't understand your path. You stop trying to prove anything to anyone. You begin to live with a quiet confidence because your actions are grounded in something deeper than external praise. But clarity isn't enough. You need consistency. Purpose must be practiced. You can't build a meaningful life by occasionally doing what matters. You build it by doing what matters daily, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching. That's what separates those who grow from those who stay stuck. And consistency isn't about perfection. You will mess up. You will fall short. But what keeps you on track is your commitment to keep coming back. Purpose gives you the reason to begin again, to not give up on yourself, to not drift for too long. It pulls you back to the center. It reminds you of what you're living for. Discipline becomes easier when you're clear on why you're doing something. Motivation fades, emotion shifts. But purpose remains. When you wake up with a reason, the effort feels worthwhile. You stop asking, "Do I feel like it today?" and start asking, "Does this move me closer to who I want to be?" That question brings clarity. That question builds character. If you want to feel more alive, more focused, and more in control, you don't need to change your whole life overnight. You need to begin every morning with one question. What would someone with my purpose do today? Then you act on that answer. You let it guide your steps. You let it shape your thoughts. You let it define your standards. And when you fail to live up to your own purpose, which you will, don't use it as an excuse to stop. Use it as a reason to start again with more honesty. Purpose is not about being flawless. It's about being faithful. It's about showing up for the life you said you wanted, even on the days you fall short. You don't need more inspiration. You need more direction. And direction comes from knowing your purpose and acting on it. Not just thinking about it. Not just talking about it, acting on it. Purpose without action is just decoration. It may sound nice, but it changes nothing. So write your purpose down. Say it out loud. Keep it where you can see it. Read it in the morning before you start your day. Ask yourself throughout the day if your actions are honoring that purpose. And if they're not, don't judge yourself. Just realign, adjust your step. Get back to the path. There is no perfect purpose. There is only the one you are willing to live for. You can't wait for life to make it easy. You have to decide what matters, and then prove it through how you live. That proof doesn't come in words. It comes in discipline, in sacrifice, in the way you manage your time, in the way you respond when no one is watching. That's what builds a strong foundation. That's what gives your life depth. Many people confuse purpose with passion. Passion is a feeling. Purpose is a decision. Feelings change. Decisions build lives. If you chase what feels good without asking what's meaningful, you'll keep moving in circles. But when you decide what you're truly committed to, even when it's hard, you stop drifting and start living with power. You'll know you've built a strong purpose when you stop needing other people to understand your journey. You'll stop chasing validation. You'll stop explaining yourself because you're no longer living to be liked. You're living to become someone you respect, and that changes everything. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait for some perfect sign. The right time to build your purpose is today, in the quiet moments, in the choices no one sees, in the discipline you show when quitting would be easier. That's where transformation begins. You build your purpose by deciding what matters. You protect it by aligning your life with it. You strengthen it by choosing it daily, and you grow through it by never giving up when it gets hard, because it will get hard. That's the point. Success is not given to those who want it. It's given to those who are willing to live with the discomfort of becoming better. If you want to attract success, start with clarity. Know where you're going, know why you're doing what you do. Let that clarity guide your mornings, your choices, your relationships, your attitude. Every area of your life improves when it's aligned with purpose. You think better, you speak better, you treat others better, you live better. Success is not about luck or charm or how much you do. It's about how deeply you commit to what matters. It's about how clearly you define your values and how courageously you live by them. No matter how busy life becomes, you always have the power to pause and ask yourself, is this moving me closer to who I want to become? And if the answer is no, you have the power to change direction. This is not about being perfect. It's about being real. It's about being honest enough to admit when you're off track, and strong enough to get back on. That's purpose in motion. That's a life built with intention. You don't need to wait to feel ready. You are ready now. Begin today by asking better questions, by setting higher standards, by removing what doesn't serve your vision, by saying no to what weakens your spirit, and by showing up fully and completely for the life you want to build. Purpose is not something you chase, it's something you live. And the more you live it, the more success begins to find you, not because you're lucky, but because you've built a life that attracts it. So, stop looking for permission. Stop waiting for a sign. The only thing you need is a reason to begin, and you already have it. It's in your heart. It's in your mind. It's in every quiet thought that tells you you're meant for more. Honor that voice. Build your life around it. And don't stop until every part of your day reflects the person you're becoming. That's how you attract success. By building a clear purpose and letting it drive everything you do. Chapter 2. Create small habits that shape a stronger future. Change doesn't come from sudden leaps or massive breakthroughs. It comes from the choices you make every day when no one is watching. The smallest actions repeated with care and consistency shape the kind of life you end up living. Most people wait for big moments to change their lives. They wait for a new year, a promotion, a wake-up call. But the truth is, success is not built in a day. It's built quietly, in small habits done every morning, every night, and in between, without drama, without attention, and without applause. The reason so many people feel stuck is not because they lack motivation or intelligence. It's because they overlook the power of small improvements. They want transformation without repetition. They look for shortcuts instead of building systems. But the future is shaped by what you do regularly, not what you do occasionally. The future is not something you find, it's something you create, brick by brick, through your habits. You don't need to change everything at once. In fact, trying to do that almost guarantees failure. What you need is to pick one simple action and do it every single day until it becomes part of you. Start with what you can manage and build from there. Don't chase perfection. Chase progress. Focus on doing the next right thing, no matter how small it may seem. That's how you create stability. That's how you build something solid that lasts. Every strong structure begins with a stable foundation. Habits are that foundation. They make life easier, not harder, because they remove the need to rely on motivation. Motivation is temporary. Habits are reliable. When something becomes a habit, it no longer requires effort or debate. It becomes automatic. And when your actions are aligned with your goals without requiring constant willpower, your growth becomes inevitable. But habits don't just happen. They're created through clear intention and simple repetition. The more you do something, the more natural it feels. The key is to keep it so simple that you cannot fail. You don't need to read a whole book in one sitting. Read one page. You don't need to overhaul your diet overnight. Start with drinking more water. You don't need to run 5 miles. Walk for 10 minutes. Small actions compound. You won't notice the change overnight, but if you stay consistent, you will wake up one day and realize how far you've come. The hardest part of any new habit is the beginning. That's where most people give up. They expect to feel different immediately. They expect results to show quickly. But that's not how it works. The early days of building habits feel boring. There's no reward, no visible progress, just effort. But those early days are where resilience is built. That's where you prove to yourself that your future matters more than your comfort. Don't wait to feel ready. If you only act when things feel exciting, you'll keep restarting your life over and over again. Habits are not built in moments of motivation. They're built in the quiet moments when you choose discipline over distraction. That one push-up, that one healthy meal, that 1 hour without your phone. It all adds up. Every small act is a vote for the person you want to become. Your life today is a reflection of your past habits. Your life tomorrow will reflect the habits you begin today. That's the truth. You can't talk your way into a better life. You can't think your way into a better life. You act your way there through the choices you repeat. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing something and doing it often. If your days feel scattered or unproductive, it's not a flaw in your personality, it's a flaw in your habits. You need structure, not rigid rules, but a rhythm that supports your growth. Morning routines, evening reflections, focused work blocks, clear priorities. These are not just productivity hacks. They are tools that protect your energy and guide your direction. One of the most powerful habits you can create is reviewing your day before it ends. Ask yourself what went right, what could be better, and what you will do tomorrow. This simple practice keeps you aware. It turns your daily life into a training ground. It gives you a sense of ownership over your progress. You stop drifting. You start adjusting. That's how you evolve with intention. Another habit that strengthens your future is choosing discomfort over ease. Every time you do something hard, something that challenges your comfort, you grow your capacity. You train yourself to handle more, to stay calm under pressure, to trust your strength. And every time you avoid what's difficult, you shrink. You tell yourself that you can't, and eventually, you believe it. So push yourself daily in some small way. Wake up a little earlier. Finish what you start. Make the phone call. Do the workout. Choose patience. These are not huge acts, but they send a message to your subconscious. I follow through. I am capable. I am becoming stronger. And you don't need to be perfect with your habits. You only need to be consistent. Perfection is a trap. It sets you up to quit the moment you mess up, but consistency gives you room to fail and return. The key is to never miss twice. If you fall short today, recommit tomorrow. That's how real change happens, not through flawless execution, but through relentless return. The habits you build should match the future you want. If you want a peaceful mind, create habits that reduce chaos. If you want better health, build habits that care for your body. If you want financial freedom, build habits that respect your money. Your habits are a mirror of what you value. If your actions don't match your vision, your life will stay stuck in conflict. You can learn all the strategies in the world, but if your daily habits stay the same, nothing will change. Knowledge without application is wasted potential. It is your behavior, repeated with care and purpose, that shapes who you are. The best version of you is not found through more information. It's found through disciplined, repeated action over time. Make your habits visible. Track them. Write them down. Celebrate your consistency. This isn't about being obsessive. It's about staying honest. When you measure your habits, you stay aware of your progress, and that awareness keeps you accountable. It reminds you that what you do matters, even when it feels small. Build a system that supports your growth. Don't rely on willpower. Design your environment so that good choices are the default. Put your workout clothes where you can see them. Keep your phone in another room. Plan your meals in advance. These simple adjustments remove friction and make success easier. Your environment should support your future, not sabotage it. You are not your habits yet, but you are always becoming them. Every action you repeat is a step in a direction. If you want a stronger future, you need stronger habits. Not louder goals, not more dramatic motivation, just clear, small, repeatable actions that serve your values and move you forward. Start today with something so small that it feels impossible to fail. Write one sentence. Drink one glass of water. Walk for 5 minutes. Do it again tomorrow, and the next day. The power is not in how much you do, but in how often you do it. Tiny steps, taken with consistency, build unstoppable momentum. One day, all those small habits will form a structure so strong that you no longer think about doing them. You just do. And that's when life begins to change, not in loud, dramatic ways, but in steady, unshakable progress. You won't have to chase success. You will live in a way that attracts it naturally, because the person who shows up every day, even in small ways, becomes the person who cannot be stopped. That is the real power of habit. That is how you build a stronger future. Chapter 3. Train your mind to focus on what matters. Every day, your mind is pulled in 100 directions. There are notifications buzzing, conversations swirling, opinions flying, and problems stacking up. The modern world doesn't offer silence. It offers noise, distraction, and pressure. And if you don't train your mind to focus, it will react to whatever is loudest instead of responding to what truly matters. Focus isn't a trait you're born with. It's a skill you develop. It's a choice you make every moment to pay attention to what is essential and let go of everything that is not. A focused mind is a powerful mind. It sees through the clutter and connects with purpose. It stays calm in chaos and makes decisions with clarity. It doesn't chase everything. It selects. It moves with direction. But you cannot gain this level of clarity by accident. You have to train for it. You have to work your mind the way an athlete trains their body, with repetition, discipline, and deliberate effort. The first step is learning to be aware of what steals your focus. It's rarely one big thing. Most of the time it's a slow leak. You check your phone for a minute and then scroll for 30. You sit down to work and then start thinking about 5 other things. You try to be present, but your thoughts wander. You're not lazy. Your mind has just been trained to react, not to reflect. The good news is, with the right training, you can reverse that pattern. One way to do this is to practice directing your attention with intention. Start by choosing one task at a time. Give it your full energy. Close out everything else. Don't switch back and forth. Don't check in between. Stay with it. Your mind will try to escape. It will want novelty and stimulation, but if you resist that pull, even for a few minutes, you begin to build mental strength. That strength grows every time you resist distraction and return your focus. Another way to sharpen your mind is to reduce mental clutter. You carry so many thoughts that drain your clarity, worries, regrets, comparisons, unfinished decisions. Write them down. Get them out of your head. When your mind isn't overloaded, it works better. You can think deeper, see clearer, and respond more effectively. Clarity doesn't come from thinking harder. It comes from thinking cleaner. You also need to limit how much information you consume. More input doesn't mean more insight. In fact, the more noise you let in, the harder it becomes to hear your own voice. If you're always consuming content, reacting to opinions, and scrolling through updates, you're filling your brain with distraction. Step back. Unplug. Take time to process. Give your thoughts space to settle. In silence, your mind starts to focus again. Meditation is a powerful tool, not because it's trendy, but because it teaches you to observe your thoughts instead of becoming them. Sit still, breathe deeply, and watch where your mind goes. Don't judge. Just notice, and then gently bring it back to your breath. This simple act rewires your attention. It trains you to stop chasing every thought and start choosing which thoughts to follow. But focus is not just about avoiding distractions. It's about being deeply connected to what's important. You need to know what deserves your attention. Not everything is urgent. Not everything needs a response. You can't focus on what matters until you're honest about what matters. This requires you to slow down and ask, what is worth my energy today? What will move my life forward? What will build the person I want to become? Once you have that clarity, you need to create boundaries that protect your focus. Turn off your phone when you need to think. Set limits on how long you'll spend on mindless tasks. Respect your time the way you'd respect someone else's. Your focus is too valuable to waste. You have a limited number of focused hours each day. Use them with care. Train your mind to be where your body is. When you eat, eat. When you work, work. When you rest, rest. Stop blending everything together. Split focus leads to shallow results. Single focus leads to deep progress. This level of discipline doesn't come naturally at first, but over time it becomes your normal. You begin to enjoy the quiet of attention. You begin to crave the stillness that comes from being fully present. Another way to train your mind is to stay committed to long-term thinking. The world conditions you to want everything now. Quick rewards, fast feedback, instant results. But deep success takes time. It requires patience. It demands that you focus not on what feels good now, but on what builds value for the future. That means showing up when the results aren't visible yet. That means staying focused on the process, not just the outcome. You also need to challenge your thoughts. Don't believe every idea that enters your mind. Not every worry is true. Not every fear is real. Your mind will try to protect you with doubt and hesitation. Train yourself to question those patterns. Ask if they're useful. Ask if they're helping you move forward. If not, let them go. Focus isn't just about attention, it's about direction. And you can't go forward if you're always looking backward or sideways. A strong mind is not one that never wavers. It's one that knows how to return. When you get distracted, come back. When you lose momentum, start again. That return again and again is what strengthens your focus. It teaches you that one bad moment doesn't define the whole day. You always have the power to recenter. Focus also grows when you take care of your physical body. Sleep, nutrition, and movement matter. A tired body creates a tired mind. You can't think clearly when your energy is drained. So take care of your health. Rest deeply, eat clean, move often. Your brain functions best when your body supports it. This isn't optional, it's essential. Be careful what you let influence your thinking. The people you spend time with affect your attention. If you're always around people who complain, gossip, or distract themselves, that becomes your normal. Choose relationships that support your clarity. Surround yourself with people who value depth, honesty, and direction. Focus is contagious, so is distraction. If you want to train your mind, start by choosing what you will ignore. The truth is, most things don't matter. Most arguments, headlines, updates, and opinions are noise. They distract you from your path. Learn to let them pass without reaction. Not everything deserves your time. Not everything deserves your thoughts. Choose what matters and give it everything. Create time in your day for stillness. Not just rest, but space where you think without interruption. Space to reflect, to evaluate, to reconnect. That space becomes your edge. In a world that never stops moving, the person who can pause and focus becomes unshakable. You won't always get it right. You'll get pulled off track. You'll waste time. You'll lose focus. But what matters is how quickly you return. What matters is the muscle you build every time you choose intention over reaction. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. And eventually, focus becomes part of your character. Not something you try to do, something you... Your mind is your most powerful tool. But it needs training. It needs direction. It needs structure. Don't leave it to chance. Don't wait for focus to find you. Build it, protect it, and strengthen it. Because the ability to focus on what matters is the key to everything you want to build. And the sooner you develop that ability, the sooner your life begins to rise. Chapter 4. Take full responsibility for every part of your life. There is a moment in every person's life when they must decide who is truly in control. It's easy to believe that circumstances, people, or the past are responsible for the way things are. It's convenient to blame a difficult childhood, a bad boss, a broken system, or even bad luck, but the truth remains unchanged. Until you take full responsibility for your life, nothing will change. No matter how unfair your situation is, or how many times you've been let down, the power to rise always begins with ownership. Every excuse, no matter how justified, keeps you stuck. Every time you wait for someone else to fix things, you give away your power. But when you decide that your life is fully in your hands, you step into freedom. Taking full responsibility means refusing to see yourself as a victim, even when you've been wronged. It doesn't mean denying pain or pretending everything is fine. It means acknowledging that how you respond, how you think, and how you act is entirely up to you. No one else can live your life. No one else can make your choices. And no one else can turn things around for you. When you accept this, you no longer need to complain. You no longer need to wait. You begin to build. This kind of responsibility is not about guilt. It's not about shaming yourself for what went wrong. It's about owning your role in where you are and stepping up to shape where you go next. It's about dropping the habit of pointing fingers and picking up the discipline of personal growth. Every time you say it's not my fault, you delay your own progress. Every time you say this is mine to change, you begin to grow. You can't control what others do, but you can control what you tolerate. You can't change the past, but you can decide how it shapes you. You can't rewrite the actions of others, but you can rewrite your response. Responsibility is not about control over the world. It's about command over yourself. That command gives you the strength to walk away from things that drain you, to step into challenges that grow you, and to stop repeating cycles that limit you. If your life is not where you want it to be, take a closer look at the decisions that brought you here. Not to judge yourself, but to learn. What did you ignore? What did you avoid? Where did you settle? These are not easy questions, but they are necessary, because growth begins where honesty begins. And until you tell yourself the full truth, your progress will always be partial. When you take responsibility, you stop expecting other people to behave a certain way in order for you to be okay. You stop needing external validation to feel confident. You stop blaming your partner, your parents, your manager, or your surroundings for your moods and your mindset. You realize that peace is not given, it's built, and you build it by taking charge of what you think, how you speak, what you allow, and what you choose. Many people stay in denial because responsibility feels heavy. But what they don't realize is that blame is heavier. Waiting is heavier. Helplessness is heavier. Responsibility may be uncomfortable, but it's the only path that leads to real change. You stop being a prisoner of your circumstances and start becoming the architect of your future. That shift in thinking creates space for new possibilities. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens one decision at a time. You are responsible for your mindset. You are responsible for your effort. You are responsible for how you treat people, how you manage your time, how you handle failure, and how you respond to success. You are responsible for your discipline, your habits, your words, and your boundaries. That level of responsibility is not always easy, but it is always worth it, because it gives you control over the one thing that matters most, yourself. When things go wrong, ask yourself what you could have done differently. Not because everything is your fault, but because there is always something to learn. Maybe you ignored the warning signs. Maybe you stayed quiet when you should have spoken. Maybe you avoided a hard decision. Own it, learn from it, grow because of it. That's how you stop repeating the same lessons. That's how you rise. Taking responsibility also means being clear about what you want and living in a way that reflects it. If you want respect, act with integrity. If you want success, show up with consistency. If you want peace, remove yourself from drama. If you want love, give it freely, without demand. Life will test your words against your actions. Responsibility is what keeps them aligned. You don't need to have all the answers to take responsibility. You just need to start where you are. Begin with what you can control right now. Your attitude, your decisions, your focus. You can choose to get up early. You can choose to turn off distractions. You can choose to take care of your health. You can choose to treat others with kindness. You can choose to keep your promises. These are small decisions, but over time they build a life that reflects your values. There is no freedom without responsibility. The more you own, the more you grow. The more you face, the more you overcome. Every moment you choose to act rather than react, to lead rather than follow, to grow rather than complain, you take a step toward the person you are meant to be. This kind of life is not handed to you, it's built. And responsibility is the first tool you need. People will make excuses forever if you let them. They will tell you why you can't change, why the system is broken, why the timing isn't right, why someone else has it easier. But those are distractions. They take your eyes off what you can do today. They keep you waiting, and if you're always waiting, you never move. Don't live like that. Don't give your energy to helplessness. Step into your power. Decide that your life is yours, even if it's hard, even if it's unfair, even if you've been hurt. You still have the ability to choose how you rise from it. The moment you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I do about this?" is the moment everything begins to shift. You move from weakness to strength, from confusion to clarity, from resistance to responsibility. You take your life back. The people who grow the most are not the ones with the best conditions. They're the ones who take full ownership of their decisions and their direction. They don't hide from their weaknesses. They face them. They don't expect someone to fix things. They start fixing themselves. That mindset builds character. That mindset builds freedom. The choice is always yours. You can continue to point at what went wrong, or you can begin building what will go right. You can stay the same, or you can become someone stronger. And no matter how far you've fallen, you're never too far to rise again if you take responsibility. This is your life. These are your choices. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to do the hard work for you. But the good news is, you don't need anyone to. You have everything you need to begin. Decide now that nothing will change until you do, and then commit to showing up differently, not for anyone else, but for the person you are becoming. Taking full responsibility is not the easy path, but it is the only path that leads to a life you can be proud of, not because everything is perfect, but because you had the courage to face yourself and the strength to build something real from it. That is where transformation begins. That is how success takes root. That is how you take control of your life fully, completely, and without excuse. Chapter 5. Eliminate distractions that block your personal progress. There's no greater threat to your potential than the noise you allow into your mind every day. Distractions aren't just things that steal your time, they're forces that chip away at your clarity, energy, and ability to move forward. Every minute spent on something meaningless is a minute stolen from what truly matters. Every time you give attention to something that doesn't serve your growth, you delay your progress. And the truth is, most people don't fail because they lack talent or opportunity. They fail because they never learn to block out what doesn't belong. Distractions are everywhere, and they come in more forms than we recognize. Some are obvious: endless scrolling, constant notifications, shallow entertainment. Others are disguised as harmless habits: overthinking, gossip, comparison, procrastination. The most dangerous distractions are the ones you've grown used to, the ones you don't even question anymore. They quietly become part of your routine until you forget what focus feels like. You find yourself exhausted, not from doing too much, but from doing too little of what matters. To eliminate distractions, you must first become brutally honest about what's stealing your attention. That requires a level of self-awareness most people avoid. It means asking yourself hard questions. Why do you keep checking your phone? Why do you jump from one task to another without finishing anything? Why do you keep saying yes to things that don't align with your goals? These answers aren't always comfortable, but they're necessary. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. Every distraction has a root. Sometimes it's fear. You're afraid of starting something meaningful because failure feels too real. Sometimes it's boredom. You haven't learned how to sit with silence and use it to your advantage. Sometimes it's avoidance. You know what needs to be done, but you don't want to deal with the discomfort. Whatever the root is, it must be pulled out. Otherwise, you will keep circling the same path, chasing productivity but getting nowhere. One of the most common traps people fall into is the illusion of busyness. They fill their day with small tasks, minor errands, constant multitasking. They convince themselves they're being productive because they're always doing something, but doing more doesn't mean achieving more. Motion is not the same as progress. If your day is filled with activity but lacks direction, you're not moving forward, you're just spinning in place. That's how distractions disguise themselves as purpose. To move beyond this trap, you must learn the value of deep work. This is where your best thinking happens, where your skills sharpen, where breakthroughs are made. But deep work requires silence. It requires solitude. It requires long periods of uninterrupted focus, which are rare in a world that demands your attention every second. If you don't protect your mind, the world will pull it in every direction but forward. You can't afford to live distracted, not if you want to grow, not if you want to create something meaningful, not if you want to live a life of purpose. The cost of distraction is too high. It weakens your discipline. It clouds your vision. It steals your time, which you can never get back. If you don't eliminate what doesn't serve you, it will eventually destroy what does. The people who rise above the rest are not those with more talent. They're the ones who protect their focus like it's their most valuable asset, because it is. They know that clarity comes from commitment. They set boundaries. They say no to things, even when it's uncomfortable. They disconnect from what drains them and reconnect to what strengthens them. They are not perfect, but they are consistent. They know that every hour spent focused is a step toward progress, while every hour lost to distraction is a step away from it. You must train yourself to ignore the noise. That means turning off what doesn't need to be on. That means stepping away from constant opinions and shallow validation. That means getting comfortable with being unavailable sometimes, because your future matters more than your notifications. You don't need to reply to everything. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to be involved in every conversation. You need to stay grounded in your own purpose. One powerful way to eliminate distractions is to simplify your environment. Your physical space influences your mental space more than you think. Clean out the clutter, reduce visual noise, keep your tools close and your temptations far. The less you have competing for your attention, the easier it becomes to concentrate. You don't need more apps, more tabs, or more tools. You need more intention. Strip away what isn't helping you and double down on what is. Your relationships matter too. Some distractions come disguised as people who interrupt your focus, people who bring drama instead of support, people who don't understand your goals and try to pull you back into old habits. You don't need to cut everyone off, but you do need to be mindful of who gets your time. Surround yourself with people who respect your focus, who challenge you to grow, who understand that silence isn't distance, it's dedication. Focus is not natural in today's world. It's something you must fight for. Every day you are bombarded with attempts to hijack your mind. Algorithms are designed to keep you addicted. Platforms are built to steal your attention. And if you don't actively defend your mind, you will spend your life chasing distractions instead of building your future. You have to be stronger than your impulses. You have to choose purpose over noise. You have to get comfortable walking away from things that don't align with who you want to become. Eliminating distractions isn't about being perfect, it's about being deliberate. You won't always get it right. You'll still get pulled off course at times. But if you notice it sooner, recover faster, and return to focus more often, you're making progress. The goal is not to never get distracted. The goal is to stop living distracted. There's a difference. Create rituals that reinforce your focus. Start your day without immediately consuming content. Set specific times to check messages instead of reacting to every ping. Build blocks of time for deep work where nothing else is allowed to interfere. These small changes add up. Over time, they reshape your habits, and those habits build your future. The most successful people in the world don't have more hours than you. They simply guard those hours with greater discipline. They understand that the true battle isn't external, it's internal. It's the fight to keep your attention on what matters, to resist the comfort of distraction, to stay loyal to your vision even when it's easier to wander. You were not born to be constantly distracted. You were meant to build, to grow, to create, to contribute. But that can only happen if you reclaim your attention and point it towards something meaningful. Don't let your days slip away in meaningless scrolling, shallow conversations, or passive consumption. Take control. Set boundaries. Be intentional. Your future depends on your ability to focus. Your goals require your full attention. Your peace requires mental clarity. And your growth requires you to eliminate anything that keeps you stuck in the noise. Choose to live with intention. Choose to cut the distractions. Choose to build something that lasts. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do what matters, and do it without being pulled in 100 directions. That is how you progress. That is how you evolve. That is how you win. Chapter 6. Practice discipline every day to grow your inner strength. Discipline is the quiet engine behind every meaningful transformation. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, and it rarely feels glamorous, but it is always powerful. When you practice discipline daily, you stop relying on feelings and start relying on choices. You no longer wait to be in the mood, because you've trained yourself to move forward regardless of how you feel. That's where inner strength is built. Not in the easy moments, but in the ones where every part of you wants to give up and you choose to keep going anyway. You don't become stronger by avoiding discomfort. You become stronger by confronting it. You grow when you keep your commitments, especially when no one is watching. That's what separates real discipline from temporary motivation. Motivation may push you to start, but only discipline can carry you through the days when progress is invisible, when the results are delayed, and when the effort feels endless. If you can keep showing up in those moments, you're building something unshakable inside yourself. Inner strength is not something you're born with, it's something you earn. Choice by choice, day by day. You earn it by waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. You earn it by doing the right thing when the wrong thing is easier. You earn it by sticking to your priorities even when the world offers you a dozen easier options. Each time you follow through, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted, and that self-trust becomes your foundation. There will always be temptations trying to pull you off course. There will always be a reason to delay, to avoid, to soften your effort. But when you've made discipline your habit, you don't waver. You've already decided who you want to be. And that decision guides your behavior. You don't negotiate with excuses. You don't bargain with laziness. You stay loyal to the path you've chosen because you understand that every step matters, even when it feels small. Real discipline doesn't shout, it whispers. It's in the decision to keep your phone off until your work is done. It's in the way you show up for your responsibilities without needing applause. It's in the structure you create for your day, not because someone told you to, but because you respect yourself enough to live intentionally. That quiet discipline builds confidence. It builds pride. It builds the kind of inner peace that comes from knowing you're not just drifting, you're directing your life with purpose. Some people think discipline is restrictive, but it's the opposite. When you live with discipline, you gain freedom. You're no longer a slave to your impulses. You're no longer trapped in cycles of guilt and regret. You wake up with clarity. You move with intention. You make choices that align with your long-term goals instead of your short-term cravings. That's real freedom. the ability to live in alignment with your values. But discipline must be practiced, not just preached. It has to be trained like a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows through repetition and resistance. You can't build strength by doing what's easy. You have to deliberately choose the path of effort. That means setting standards and holding yourself to them. That means pushing through when it's hard, not because it's enjoyable, but because it's necessary. You stop waiting for conditions to be perfect, because you know the perfect moment is a lie. The right time is always now. One of the most powerful things discipline gives you is control. Not over everything in life, but over yourself. You don't get to control outcomes, but you do control effort. You don't get to control how others behave, but you do control your own reactions. You don't get to skip the struggle, but you do control how you respond to it. And when you show up with discipline every day, you train your mind to stop panicking and start performing. You build a calm center, even in chaos. When setbacks happen, and they will, discipline is what keeps you grounded. It reminds you that progress isn't lost just because things get difficult. It reminds you that one mistake doesn't erase all the work you've done. It helps you recalibrate without falling apart. People without discipline give up the moment things get messy. But those who've trained themselves to stay steady keep going, even with bruises and doubts. That steadiness is what makes long-term success possible. You don't have to change your entire life overnight. In fact, trying to do so usually leads to burnout. Discipline thrives in consistency, not intensity. Start small. Do one thing today that aligns with who you want to become. Then do it again tomorrow. Let those actions stack. Let them compound. Over time, you'll look back and see how far you've come. Not because you had huge breakthroughs, but because you refused to give up on the boring, necessary things. There will be days when you slip. That's normal. But discipline teaches you not to stay down. You learn to reset faster. You learn to take responsibility without shame. You learn to rise without drama. You don't spiral into self-pity because you've built a system, not just a streak. And that system, those small daily disciplines, is what will carry you through the hard seasons of life. Discipline doesn't mean being harsh with yourself. It means being honest. It means saying, I know I'm capable of more, so I won't settle for less. It means taking care of your future self, even when your present self wants comfort. It means sacrificing ease now so that you can live with pride later. That's not punishment, it's leadership. You are leading yourself toward the life you want, and that leadership starts with daily follow-through. You don't have to feel like it. You don't have to wait for the right mood. You just have to do the next right thing. Discipline is doing the workout when it's raining. It's studying when you're tired. It's showing up for your goals when no one is watching. It's making decisions based on your standards, not your feelings. And with every act of discipline, your inner strength grows. You become the kind of person who does what they say they'll do. The kind of person who doesn't crumble under pressure. The kind of person who doesn't need to be rescued because they've learned how to rescue themselves. Every day is an opportunity to train that strength. You don't need to be extreme, but you do need to be committed. Discipline is quiet, but its results speak volumes. It gives you confidence, not just in what you can achieve, but in who you are becoming. That is what discipline builds. Not just better habits, but a better you. And once you've developed that kind of strength, nothing can take it from you. Chapter 7. Develop the courage to face your biggest fears. Fear tries to convince you that you are not ready, not strong enough, not worthy. It whispers lies that make you shrink, hesitate, and hide from the life you are meant to live. But courage is not about being fearless. It's about moving forward, despite the fear. It's about deciding that your growth matters more than your comfort, that your future matters more than your doubt, and that you will not let fear define your identity. Courage doesn't arrive fully formed. It develops each time you choose to face something that makes you uncomfortable, and the more you confront what you once avoided, the less power that fear holds over you. Fear thrives in the unknown. It grows in silence, in avoidance, in the places you refuse to look. But when you name your fears, when you bring them into the light and look them in the eye, you begin to weaken their grip. That's the first act of courage. Not solving them, but confronting them. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to be willing to see the truth and stop pretending you're fine when you're stuck. That moment of gnosis opens the door to change. Every person has fears, deep, personal, often hidden ones. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough. And the natural instinct is to run from them or cover them up with distractions. But hiding from what scares you doesn't make life safer, it just makes it smaller. You don't build a meaningful life by avoiding the hard things. You build it by stepping toward them with trembling hands, steady breath, and the decision to grow no matter how uncertain the outcome. You are not weak for having fears. You are human. But what defines your strength is what you do with those fears. If you let them stop you, they become the limits of your potential. But if you move through them, they become the path to your strength. You may not be able to erase fear completely, but you can build a relationship with it where it no longer controls your choices. Fear may walk beside you, but it doesn't get to steer the wheel. Facing your fears is not a one-time act. It's a daily decision. It's choosing to have that conversation you've been avoiding. It's applying for that opportunity you think you're not qualified for. It's showing up for yourself even when you're full of doubt. You don't need to leap into the fire, you just need to take one step toward it. One action, one move. And in that step, you prove to yourself that you are capable of handling discomfort, of enduring uncertainty, of growing beyond your current limits. Avoidance keeps your world small, but courage expands it. Each time you face something you once feared, you shift your self-perception. You start seeing yourself not as a person who hides, but as a person who acts. That shift creates momentum. It changes how you carry yourself, how you think, and how you relate to the world around you. Courage gives you access to a version of yourself that fear tried to keep hidden, and the more you act with courage, the more natural it becomes. The truth is, many of your fears are illusions, exaggerated stories created by your mind to keep you safe. But safety is not the same as fulfillment. Playing small may protect you from pain, but it also protects you from purpose. And when you live behind your fears for too long, you begin to feel hollow. You sense that you're not living in alignment with your potential. You can pretend it's fine, but deep down you know you were made for more. There will be times when you feel overwhelmed by the size of what you're facing. That's normal. Courage isn't about pretending it's easy. It's about moving forward anyway. You don't have to eliminate fear before you take action. You simply have to decide that staying stuck is no longer acceptable, that your dreams, your growth, your integrity are more important than your fear. That decision changes everything. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is admit that you're afraid. Say it out loud, write it down. Stop pretending you're fearless and start acknowledging where you feel blocked. Once you do that, fear loses its mystery. You can't defeat what you won't face, but once it's in the open, you can begin to dismantle it. Piece by piece, thought by thought, action by action. You build courage like you build anything else, with effort, with repetition, and with time. You don't wait until you're no longer afraid. You act now, even with the fear, especially with the fear. You do the hard thing, not because it feels good in the moment, but because you know who you want to become. And each time you act despite fear, you reinforce the truth that you are not powerless. Courage shows up in the little choices, in how you speak up for yourself when it's easier to stay quiet, in how you take responsibility for your life when blaming others would be more comfortable, in how you say yes to change even when the outcome is uncertain. Every act of courage sends a message to your nervous system that you are capable, that you are safe to act, and that fear doesn't get to make your decisions for you anymore. Your mind may try to protect you from risk, but your heart knows when something matters, and that tension between safety and significance is where courage is born. You don't have to silence fear, you just have to strengthen your will. Let your values lead, let your growth lead, let your desire to live fully and honestly lead you forward. The fear will still be there, but it will not break you. It will not own you. There is nothing wrong with being scared, but don't let fear make you forget your power. You are stronger than you think, and you've already survived things you once thought you couldn't. You've overcome pain, doubt, uncertainty, and heartbreak. That history is your evidence. You don't need more time. You don't need perfect conditions. You need courage, and that courage already lives within you. It's just waiting for you to give it the lead. Start where you are. Take the step that scares you. Say what you need to say. Do what you've been putting off. Not recklessly, but with intention. Not for show, but for truth. You were not born to live in the shadow of your fear. You were born to confront it, to grow through it, and to rise above it. The life you want is on the other side of your resistance, and the only way to reach it is through courage. Chapter 8. Set clear goals that keep you moving forward. If you want to grow, if you want to reach the version of yourself you haven't met yet, you need direction. You need to wake up each day knowing what you're working toward, not just what you're trying to get away from. Goals are not just tasks on a list. They are statements about who you are becoming. They pull you out of indecision and give your energy a target. When you have a clear goal, you stop drifting, you stop reacting to life, and you start creating it. A clear goal turns your efforts into progress. It helps you filter out the noise and keep your attention where it belongs, on your mission. You can't move forward if you don't know where you're going. Without a defined destination, every distraction looks important, and every delay feels justified. But when you set a clear goal, you create urgency. You give your days a sense of purpose. You stop letting time slip away and start using it as a tool. You begin to measure your actions, not by how busy they make you feel, but by whether they're moving you closer to where you want to be. Setting goals doesn't mean you have everything figured out. It means you're willing to take control of what you can. It means you're no longer waiting for permission to start. Goals give you permission to begin before you feel ready, to move before the path is perfect. You don't need a detailed roadmap. You need a direction and a reason. You can adjust along the way, but you must start with a decision. Without that, you stay in the same place, cycling through the same doubts, waiting for life to push you. A powerful goal isn't vague. It's not something you casually wish for. It's something you commit to. It's something you can visualize, track, and build toward with consistency. The more specific the goal, the more likely it is to be achieved, because clarity breeds focus, and focus eliminates waste. When your goal is clear, you don't need to do everything. You just need to do what matters. The rest becomes background noise. Goals also teach you discipline. They remind you that progress doesn't come from bursts of inspiration. It comes from showing up even when it's boring, inconvenient, or uncomfortable. It's easy to talk about what you want. But when you set a real goal, it forces you to act, and action is where transformation lives. No amount of thinking will get you there, only doing will. And that doing starts with knowing what you are aiming for. A clear goal makes it easier to say no. It gives you boundaries. When you're tempted to waste time, give up, or get pulled into things that don't serve you, your goal reminds you that you're building something bigger. You're not just passing time, you're preparing for something. That mindset changes how you move through the world. It makes you more intentional with your hours, more selective with your energy, and more confident in your decisions. You don't need to wait for the perfect goal to get started. What matters is that it's meaningful to you, not that it's impressive to anyone else. A goal that keeps you moving forward is one that speaks to your personal growth. It's something that challenges you, stretches you, and excites you. It can be big or small, short-term or long-term, but it must matter enough to you that you're willing to stay with it through the hard parts. Too often, people stop setting goals because they're afraid of failing. But not having a goal doesn't protect you from failure. It guarantees stagnation. Growth requires risk. It requires that you believe in the possibility of something better and are willing to work for it. Even if the outcome changes, even if the path gets messy, the act of pursuing something meaningful changes you in ways comfort never could. You are allowed to aim high. You are allowed to set a goal that scares you. You are allowed to want more. That doesn't make you greedy or unrealistic. It makes you alive. There is no growth in playing small to make others comfortable or to avoid the fear of falling short. If you fall, you learn. If you miss, you recalibrate. But if you never aim, you stay exactly where you are, and you deserve more than that. Once you set your goal, break it down, make it manageable. You don't climb a mountain in one leap. You take it step by step. Each action you take becomes a brick in the foundation of your future. And as you move, you'll gain clarity. You'll learn what works, what doesn't, what motivates you, and what habits you need to change. Goals don't just help you achieve, they help you evolve. Write your goals down. Say them out loud. Remind yourself daily what you're working toward. The more you anchor them into your consciousness, the more natural your actions will align with them. You begin to see your life as connected pieces instead of random events. Your time becomes sacred. Your choices become deliberate. And the progress, however slow, becomes consistent. Don't wait until you feel like pursuing your goals. You'll lose momentum that way. Move first, and motivation will follow. Your job is not to feel ready every day. Your job is to stay committed to the outcome you chose. That consistency builds identity. You go from someone who talks about change to someone who lives it. And that shift is what creates long-term results. You are capable of more than you've allowed yourself to believe. But you must give yourself a target. You must act like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. Not in the literal sense, but in the emotional, mental, and spiritual sense. Without direction, you feel lost. Without purpose, you feel numb. Goals restore meaning. They give your life rhythm and aim. They remind you that you are the author of your story, not a passive observer. Don't set goals just to impress others. Set goals that matter to your heart. Goals that make you proud. Goals that pull you forward on the days when everything else feels heavy. And remember, a goal isn't a wish. It's a contract with yourself, one you honor through action, through effort, through persistence. When you commit to your goals with that level of seriousness, You stop being a spectator and start becoming a builder. Life moves fast. Time passes whether you use it or not. Goals keep you grounded. They help you make each moment count. So stop hesitating. Choose something that matters. Define it. Commit to it. And build the habits that will carry you toward it. Because every step you take toward a clear goal is a step away from regret. And that alone is worth everything. Chapter 9. Push yourself daily to do one hard thing. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort, mistaking ease for peace and comfort for happiness. But the truth is, the longer you avoid the hard things, the smaller your world becomes. Growth is not found in what comes naturally. It's discovered in the moment you choose the difficult path, the uncomfortable step, the challenge that forces you to confront your limits. If you want to build a life you're proud of, you must make a daily commitment to push yourself on purpose. Not once in a while, not when it's convenient, but every single day. That doesn't mean you have to conquer something massive. It means you deliberately choose one hard thing, and you face it. That is how real transformation begins. The hard things are the ones that expose your excuses. They reveal the gap between what you say you want and what you're actually doing. Whether it's having a difficult conversation, taking the next step in a personal project, waking up earlier than you want, or finally starting what you've been avoiding, doing one hard thing a day forces you to meet yourself. No hiding, no pretending, just you, your decision, and the resistance that rises when comfort tries to take over. That resistance is not a sign to stop, it's a signal to keep going. Because everything worthwhile exists on the other side of resistance. You cannot grow stronger by staying safe. You cannot become disciplined, confident, or fulfilled by doing only what's easy. Every time you intentionally lean into something difficult, you build trust with yourself. You prove that your word means something. You prove that you can follow through. You build an identity rooted in strength instead of avoidance. And slowly, day by day, you become someone who takes action, even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. That's how real resilience is built. Start with what you've been avoiding, not because it's dramatic or impressive, but because it's personal. The hard thing for you might not be what it is for someone else. And that's the point. What matters is that it's honest. Maybe it's turning off distractions and focusing deeply on something that matters. Maybe it's moving your body when you'd rather stay still. Maybe it's reaching out when it would feel easier to withdraw. Maybe it's admitting where you've been lying to yourself. Whatever it is, do it today, then do it again tomorrow. When you finish something hard, even a small task, you don't just feel relief, you gain energy. You feel a sense of pride that doesn't come from praise or reward, but from knowing you did something meaningful. That energy is fuel. It carries you into the next challenge with more courage than before. It creates momentum. It reminds you that you're not stuck, that you're capable, that you have what it takes to do hard things again and again. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Most people wait for motivation to strike before doing hard things, but that's backward. Motivation doesn't create action. Action creates motivation. Once you act, even if it's clumsy or slow, your brain starts to catch up. You shift from hesitation to movement, from doubt to focus, and with every step forward, the fear begins to fade. You realize the thing you were resisting wasn't as impossible as you made it out to be, and even if it was hard, you survived it. You got through. That builds mental toughness in a way nothing else can. You don't need to overhaul your life in a single day. That's not sustainable. But one hard thing consistently compounds over time. If you do this for a week, you'll feel a change. If you do it for a month, you'll move differently. And if you stay with it for a year, your entire identity will shift. Because the person who trains themselves to face discomfort becomes immune to excuses. They stop being intimidated by obstacles. They start seeing hard things as invitations, not threats. The key is to treat this like a practice, not a punishment. You're not doing hard things to suffer. You're doing them to sharpen your mind and strengthen your spirit. This is a form of self-respect, a way of telling yourself, I refuse to settle for the path of least resistance. I choose to become someone better. That choice, repeated every day, changes everything. It changes how you handle failure, how you respond to stress, and how you carry yourself when life throws something unexpected your way. No one can do this for you. People can support you. They can cheer for you, but the action is yours. And that's a good thing, because when you earn your progress through difficulty, no one can take it away from you. It becomes part of who you are, not just something you achieved, but something you became. That's the kind of success that matters. Not the surface-level wins, but the inner victory that comes from choosing growth over ease. Don't underestimate the power of a single choice. You may not feel like doing the hard thing today. You may want to push it off or pretend it's not important. But each time you choose to act anyway, you chip away at your own resistance. You gain strength in the very moment you could have quit. That strength adds up. It becomes your edge, the quiet advantage you build in the shadows, while others wait for perfect timing. You don't need to announce what you're doing. You don't need recognition. Let your consistency speak. Let your results tell the story. One day, the same things that felt overwhelming will feel routine. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Because you kept showing up when it was hard. That's what separates those who rise from those who stall. The willingness to do what's necessary, not just what's comfortable. Hard things don't just test your limits, they reveal them. And once you see where you struggle, you have the power to change. But only if you're honest. Only if you keep facing that edge and pushing it just a little further every day. This is not about punishment, it's about purpose. About rising above the version of yourself that gave in too easily. About building grit, self-respect, and personal power. You're not here to live a life of avoidance. You're here to grow, to contribute, to expand. That starts with small, brave choices. Every single day, choose one thing that challenges you. One thing that forces you to level up. That's where the strength is. That's where confidence is born. And that's where your future begins. Chapter 10. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. The people around you shape who you become. Their energy, their words, and their attitudes influence how you see yourself and the possibilities you believe are available. When you surround yourself with people who lift you up, you create a foundation of support and encouragement that fuels your progress. These are the people who celebrate your wins, challenge your excuses, and inspire you to grow beyond what you thought possible. They remind you of your worth when you forget. They believe in your potential when doubt creeps in. The company you keep directly impacts your mindset and your ability to stay motivated on your journey towards success. It's easy to underestimate the power of your environment. Sometimes you assume your relationships are neutral or just part of life. But the truth is, the people you spend time with can either push you forward or hold you back. Negative influences drain your energy, distract you from your goals, and fill your mind with limiting beliefs. On the other hand, positive relationships energize you, sharpen your focus, and increase your resilience. Choosing who you let into your life is one of the most practical and impactful decisions you can make. When you commit to surrounding yourself with uplifting people, you build a network of accountability. These are the individuals who don't let you settle for less. They see your potential even when you doubt it yourself. They ask the tough questions that help you reflect and grow. Their presence raises your standards because they live by example. It's impossible to grow into a stronger version of yourself while constantly being around those who discourage your ambitions or normalize complacency. Uplifting people aren't perfect. They don't have all the answers. What makes them valuable is their attitude toward growth, their willingness to be honest, and their ability to support without enabling. They challenge you gently but firmly. They encourage action instead of excuses. They listen deeply without judgment and provide feedback that helps you see blind spots. Being around these kinds of people creates an environment where growth is natural, not forced. Building a circle of positive influence requires intention. It might mean spending less time with those who drain you or limit your vision. It might require reaching out to new groups, joining communities that share your values, or finding mentors who have walked the path you want to take. Sometimes it means being vulnerable and admitting that you need support. Remember, seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. No one achieves lasting success alone. We all need people who believe in us to hold us up when we stumble. Your social environment influences your habits and mindset more than you realize. If the people around you gossip, complain, or focus on problems, it becomes harder to maintain optimism and productivity. But if you surround yourself with those who talk about solutions, growth, and possibilities, you start adopting that language and mindset naturally. Your brain begins to associate success with the people in your life, making it easier to stay motivated and focused. You become the average of the people you spend the most time with. This is not about copying others blindly, but about choosing influences that reflect the qualities you want to develop. If you want to be disciplined, find disciplined people. If you want to be courageous, spend time with those who face their fears. If you want to be kind, cultivate friendships with compassionate individuals. Your relationships are mirrors and mentors. They show you what is possible and who you can become. Sometimes you have to be brave enough to distance yourself from toxic relationships. This is not about cutting people off without reason, but recognizing when certain connections no longer serve your growth or well-being. Toxic relationships can drain your confidence and cloud your judgment. They can fill your mind with self-doubt and keep you trapped in patterns of negativity. Choosing to step back from these relationships is a powerful act of self-care and a commitment to your future. Being around uplifting people also means being willing to give back. Relationships are not one-way streets. When you lift others, you reinforce your own growth. Encouraging a friend, sharing your progress, or simply showing up with a positive attitude creates a cycle of mutual support. The energy you put out returns multiplied. That kind of community builds resilience because you know you are not alone in your challenges. You don't have to wait for others to change or be perfect before you seek better connections. Start where you are by looking for small opportunities to build positive interactions. Compliment someone's effort, ask thoughtful questions, or express genuine gratitude. These small acts can open doors to deeper relationships with people who inspire you. Over time, these connections create a support system that helps you navigate challenges and celebrate milestones. When you surround yourself with people who lift you up, you create a safe space to be vulnerable and authentic. You don't have to pretend to have everything figured out because you know your community will hold space for your struggles and growth. That authenticity deepens your connections and strengthens your resilience. It also encourages you to take risks and pursue your goals with confidence because you know you have support no matter what. Choosing your circle carefully is an act of leadership. You are leading yourself towards success by controlling your environment. You are setting a standard for how you want to be treated and what you expect from relationships. This kind of leadership requires courage because it means making tough decisions about who stays in your life and who doesn't. But that courage pays off by creating an atmosphere where you can thrive. Your success is not just about what you do alone, it's about who walks with you on the journey. People who lift you up help you see beyond obstacles. They remind you of your strengths when you feel weak. They challenge you to grow when you feel comfortable. Their energy becomes contagious, and their belief in you becomes a powerful force that propels you forward. Building this circle is one of the most effective ways to stay committed to your goals and create lasting change. Surrounding yourself with uplifting people doesn't guarantee an easy path, but it guarantees that you will have the strength to keep going. It makes hard days manageable and good days even better. The right relationships increase your capacity to endure setbacks and celebrate victories. They remind you that success is not a solo achievement, but a shared experience. This connection is part of what makes the journey meaningful. You have the power to choose your environment. You don't have to accept negativity or low expectations as your default. You can seek out those who inspire and challenge you. You can invest time in relationships that fuel your growth instead of drain your energy. That choice alone sets you apart from many. It separates those who drift through life from those who intentionally build a life worth living. Being intentional about your circle also means regularly reflecting on your relationships. Ask yourself if the people around you are pushing you toward your best self or holding you back. Are they contributing to your growth or distracting you from your purpose? Are you uplifting them as much as they uplift you? This kind of reflection helps you stay aligned with your values and committed to your progress. The process of surrounding yourself with positive influences is ongoing. People come and go, priorities change, life evolves, but the commitment to cultivating a supportive network remains constant. It requires effort, patience, and vulnerability. It requires you to show up authentically and be willing to receive support. But the rewards are immeasurable. A life filled with connection, purpose, and encouragement. In the end, your relationships are one of your greatest assets. They shape your thoughts, your actions, and your identity. When you surround yourself with people who lift you up, you create an environment where success becomes not only possible but inevitable. You build a community that strengthens you when you're weak, celebrates you when you succeed, and challenges you to become more than you thought possible. That is the power of connection. That is the foundation of lasting success. Chapter 11. Track your progress to stay honest and focused. Tracking your progress is one of the most powerful habits you can develop on the path to success. Without tracking, it's easy to lose sight of how far you've come, or to convince yourself that you're not moving forward at all. Recording your actions and results forces you to be honest with yourself. It creates clarity in a world full of distractions and helps you maintain focus on what truly matters. Progress tracking is not about perfection, it's about awareness. It's a tool that shows you what's working, what needs adjustment, and how your daily efforts add up over time. When you know where you stand, you gain control over your journey instead of letting it control you. The act of tracking transforms vague intentions into concrete evidence. When you write down your achievements, no matter how small, you create proof of your commitment and growth. This proof builds motivation because it reminds you that your hard work is producing results. It turns abstract goals into measurable milestones. Without this, it's easy to forget the incremental wins that lead to lasting change. Those wins matter more than most people realize. They are the foundation of confidence and momentum. Progress tracking also cultivates accountability. When you know your actions are being monitored, even if only by yourself, you are less likely to slack off or make excuses. You become more disciplined because you can't deny your own record. This accountability keeps you honest, especially during times when motivation wanes or distractions threaten to pull you off course. By regularly reviewing your progress, you maintain a connection to your purpose and remind yourself why you started. Being honest with yourself through tracking helps you avoid the trap of self-deception. It's easy to overestimate how much you're doing or how close you are to your goals, but when you consistently record your actions, you see the truth. This truth is not meant to discourage, but to inform. It highlights areas where effort is lacking and reveals patterns that either support or hinder your success. With this insight, you can make smarter decisions about where to focus your energy and how to adjust your strategy. Tracking your progress also encourages reflection. It creates a space to pause and evaluate your journey. What challenges did you face? How did you respond? What lessons have you learned? Reflection deepens your understanding of yourself and the process of growth. It moves you beyond mindless repetition into intentional development. You start to see your habits, mindset shifts, and results with greater clarity. This deeper awareness is essential for making lasting changes. Another benefit of tracking is that it breaks down overwhelming goals into manageable steps. When you record progress daily or weekly, you recognize that big achievements are the sum of consistent small efforts. This realization reduces the pressure to be perfect or make huge leaps all at once. It shows that steady progress, even if slow, leads to transformation. This mindset makes it easier to stay patient and persistent, two qualities essential for success. Tracking progress can take many forms. It can be as simple as journaling your daily actions, using a planner, or employing digital apps designed for goal management. The key is consistency. Whatever method you choose, it should be something you can maintain and that provides clear feedback. You want a system that helps you see trends over time, celebrates victories, and alerts you to setbacks. This system becomes a personal map guiding you forward. When tracking, it's important to include more than just outcomes. Record your efforts, your challenges, your emotions, and your thoughts. Success is not just about results. It's about the process. Paying attention to how you feel and what obstacles arise helps you develop resilience and adaptability. It trains you to notice when you're off track emotionally or mentally before it impacts your actions. This holistic approach creates stronger, more sustainable progress. Avoid using tracking as a tool for self-criticism. The goal is not to beat yourself up for missed steps or slow progress. It's to create an honest account that helps you learn and grow. Compassion combined with honesty fuels improvement more effectively than harsh judgment. When you approach tracking with kindness and curiosity, it becomes a positive habit that supports rather than punishes. Tracking also strengthens your commitment to your goals. When you see your progress clearly, you reinforce the belief that your efforts are worthwhile. This belief is the fuel that keeps you moving forward when obstacles arise. Without it, discouragement can easily take hold. Progress tracking builds confidence because it shows you that change is happening, even if it's not always obvious in the moment. Consistency in tracking helps build momentum. Small wins documented over time create a sense of achievement that compounds. This momentum carries you through difficult phases and keeps your motivation alive. It shifts your identity from someone who tries to someone who consistently moves forward. That shift is essential for turning intentions into reality. If you find tracking challenging, start with small steps. Don't try to monitor everything at once. Focus on key areas that matter most to your goals. As tracking becomes a habit, you can expand and refine your system. The important thing is to begin and to maintain the practice. Every entry you make is a step toward greater self-awareness and progress. Tracking progress creates a feedback loop. You take action, observe results, reflect, and then adjust your approach based on what you learn. This cycle is the essence of continuous improvement. Without it, you're likely to repeat mistakes or stick with ineffective habits. With it, you become a student of your own growth and a more effective architect of your success. Progress tracking fosters gratitude as well. When you look back on your entries, you see evidence of your hard work and persistence. This perspective cultivates appreciation for your journey and the strength you've developed. Gratitude fuels positivity and resilience, both crucial for sustaining long-term success. Your tracking practice becomes a personal archive of your transformation. It holds the story of where you started, the struggles you overcame, and the victories you earned. This archive not only motivates you but can inspire others when shared. It serves as a reminder that progress is possible for anyone willing to commit and act. Ultimately, tracking your progress is about honoring your potential. It's about showing up for yourself consistently and holding the space for growth. It keeps you connected to your goals and helps you navigate the inevitable challenges with clarity and purpose. It turns abstract dreams into tangible results by bridging intention and action. By developing the habit of honest progress tracking, you empower yourself to stay focused, adapt as needed, and celebrate every step forward. This habit is a cornerstone of success because it ensures you never lose sight of your direction or your achievements. It transforms your journey from guesswork into a deliberate, informed process where you are fully engaged in becoming the best version of yourself. Chapter 12. Speak with intention to shape your personal identity. The way you speak reveals who you are and shapes who you become. Every word you choose carries weight beyond its surface meaning. Speaking with intention means being aware of the impact your words have on your mindset, your relationships, and your identity. It is a practice that helps you take control of your personal narrative instead of letting circumstances or others define you. When you speak intentionally, you consciously build the version of yourself that aligns with your values, goals, and vision for life. Your language becomes a tool to shape reality rather than a random expression of thoughts. Words influence your inner dialogue as much as they affect how others perceive you. The stories you tell yourself matter. Saying "I can't" or "I'm not good enough" repeatedly programs your mind to believe those statements, limiting your potential. On the other hand, choosing words that reflect possibility, strength, and growth rewires your brain to expect and pursue better outcomes. Speaking with intention requires mindfulness, catching yourself when negativity or doubt slips in and replacing it with constructive, empowering language. This shift isn't about pretending, but about choosing truth that supports your progress. When you speak to others, intention is equally important. Your words have the power to build bridges or burn them down. Communicating with clarity, kindness, and purpose strengthens your connections and reinforces your personal brand. People listen closely, not only to what you say, but how you say it. Speaking confidently and thoughtfully builds trust and respect. It shows that you are deliberate about your beliefs and actions. This kind of communication reflects an inner alignment between who you are and what you want to become. Intentional speech also means aligning your words with your actions. Saying something you don't mean or making promises you don't keep damages your credibility and self-respect. When you speak with integrity, your words and deeds form a consistent message. This consistency builds your identity as a reliable and authentic person. It makes it easier to set boundaries, say no, and stay true to your values. The more you practice this, the stronger your sense of self becomes, because your external reality mirrors your internal commitment. Your language shapes how you handle challenges as well. The words you choose in difficult situations influence your emotional response and problem-solving ability. Describing obstacles as opportunities to learn, rather than failures, changes how you react and what you focus on next. Intentional speech transforms problems into manageable tasks instead of overwhelming threats. This mindset creates resilience by training your brain to look for solutions instead of getting stuck in negativity. It's important to recognize the power of self-talk throughout the day. You may not realize how much internal dialogue shapes your feelings and decisions. By monitoring this internal conversation and choosing words that encourage and empower, you build mental toughness and confidence. Simple phrases like "I will do my best," "I am capable," or "I can improve" plant seeds of growth that influence your behavior over time. This positive reinforcement makes challenges less intimidating and progress more likely. Intentional speech requires practice and patience. Old habits don't disappear overnight, and negative language can be deeply ingrained. Start by becoming aware of your common phrases, beliefs, and complaints. Notice when your words limit you or drain your energy. Then actively replace those patterns with statements that support your goals and well-being. Over time, this habit rewires your brain and transforms your identity. You become someone who naturally speaks with clarity, confidence, and purpose. Choosing your words carefully also means avoiding exaggeration or drama. Emotional language that overstates problems or feelings can create unnecessary stress and confusion. Speaking calmly and factually helps you stay grounded and focused on solutions. It encourages others to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This balanced approach to communication nurtures healthy relationships and a stable mindset. Your intentions extend beyond individual words to the tone and timing of your speech. Speaking with respect, patience, and empathy fosters understanding and cooperation. Timing your words appropriately increases their impact and reduces misunderstandings. When you speak with this awareness, you create conversations that build rapport instead of conflict. This skill is essential for personal and professional success because it demonstrates emotional intelligence and maturity. Using intentional speech also empowers you to tell your story on your terms. Instead of allowing others to label or define you, you choose the narrative that reflects your truth. This ownership of your story frees you from the limitations of past mistakes, external judgments, or societal expectations. You craft a personal identity rooted in growth, resilience, and authenticity. Speaking your truth with confidence attracts opportunities and relationships aligned with your vision. Intentional speech is a form of leadership. Whether you're leading a team, influencing friends, or guiding yourself, clear and purposeful communication inspires action and trust. Leaders who master this skill create environments where ideas flow freely, challenges are addressed constructively, and goals are pursued passionately. You become a role model by showing how words shape reality and drive meaningful change. Your personal identity is fluid and evolving. The language you use is one of the primary tools shaping that evolution. By choosing words that reflect your highest aspirations, you guide yourself toward becoming the person you want to be. This process is ongoing and requires continuous attention, but the payoff is immense. A life lived intentionally, relationships built on trust, and a self-image grounded in authenticity. Remember that silence can also be a form of intentional communication. Choosing when to speak and when to listen demonstrates control and respect. It allows you to gather information, process emotions, and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Mastering the balance between speaking and listening strengthens your communication skills and deepens your connections. Ultimately, speaking with intention transforms language from a passive habit into an active tool of creation. It bridges your inner world and external reality by giving voice to your values, goals, and identity. This transformation requires awareness, effort, and courage, but yields profound results. You become a person who shapes life rather than being shaped by it. This shift creates freedom, confidence, and the power to influence your path and impact those around you. Start today by observing your words without judgment. Notice their tone, purpose, and effect. Then commit to speaking in a way that honors your goals and respects yourself and others. Practice clarity, honesty, and kindness in your communication. Over time, these small daily choices will build a strong foundation for your personal identity and set the stage for lasting success. Your words will no longer just describe your life, they will actively shape it. Chapter 13. Wake up early to build a winning routine. Waking up early transforms your entire day by giving you time and space to focus before distractions arrive. Rising ahead of most people allows you to take control of your schedule instead of reacting to demands and interruptions. This early time can be used to center yourself, set priorities, and take deliberate actions that prepare you for success. The power of starting your day with intention cannot be overstated. It sets the tone for productivity, mindset, and energy levels that carry you through challenges and opportunities alike. Early mornings offer a rare kind of quiet that nurtures focus and clarity. When the world is still, your mind has room to settle and plan without being pulled in multiple directions. This calm environment makes it easier to connect with your goals and map out the steps needed to move closer to them. By making waking early a habit, you create a mental advantage, a consistent block of time dedicated to growth and preparation. This head start helps you avoid feeling rushed or overwhelmed later in the day. The habit of waking early is a practice in discipline. It requires pushing past comfort and resisting the temptation to linger in bed. This act of self-control strengthens your ability to make choices aligned with your priorities. Over time, that discipline extends into other areas of life, making you more resilient to distractions and setbacks. You develop the confidence that comes from consistently showing up for yourself, no matter how tempting it is to delay. Morning routines built around waking early are opportunities to engage in activities that nourish your mind and body. Whether it's exercise, meditation, reading, or journaling, these practices lay a foundation of well-being and focus. Starting your day with physical movement wakes your body and releases energy that fuels mental clarity. Quiet reflection or journaling creates awareness of your intentions and mindset. Learning or planning enhances your skills and sharpens your direction. These intentional morning habits multiply the value of waking early by creating momentum that lasts all day. Consistent early rising improves sleep quality by establishing a stable rhythm. When you go to bed and wake up at regular times, your body's internal clock aligns with natural cycles. This alignment leads to deeper, more restorative sleep, which impacts mood, energy, and cognitive function. Better sleep means you are more alert and capable of handling challenges without becoming overwhelmed. It's a natural cycle that supports sustained performance and well-being. Waking early can also expand your available time, creating a sense of abundance. When you carve out even an hour before the typical start of the day, you open space for personal development, strategic planning, or quiet creativity. This extra time can be the difference between feeling behind and feeling prepared. It shifts your perspective from scarcity to possibility, giving you freedom to choose how you begin your day. The psychological impact of waking early is significant. It reinforces a mindset of ownership and proactivity. You demonstrate to yourself that you are capable of controlling your schedule and priorities. This empowerment builds confidence that spills over into other areas of your life. When you start your day on your terms, you carry that sense of control and purpose into every decision and interaction. Adjusting to an early wake-up time requires intention and gradual change. Abrupt shifts can backfire by causing fatigue or frustration. It's more effective to move your wake-up time earlier by small increments, allowing your body and mind to adapt. Pair this with a consistent bedtime that supports sufficient rest. Over time, your new rhythm becomes natural and even enjoyable, creating a positive feedback loop that encourages continued commitment. Early mornings provide a unique opportunity to practice mindfulness. Starting the day with awareness anchors you in the present moment rather than rushing into worries or distractions. This calm, centered state improves decision-making and emotional regulation throughout the day. Mindfulness practiced in the morning cultivates patience, clarity, and resilience, qualities that contribute to long-term success and fulfillment. Choosing to wake early also signals prioritization of your goals and growth. It means you value your time and are willing to invest effort in yourself. This choice separates those who passively experience life from those who actively create it. The routine you build around waking early becomes a daily declaration of your commitment to progress and excellence. Waking early is a habit that fosters gratitude and perspective. The quiet moments of morning can become a time to appreciate what you have and set a positive tone. This gratitude creates emotional resilience and reduces stress. It also reminds you that each day is a new opportunity to move closer to the life you desire. The benefits of waking early extend beyond personal productivity. It improves relationships by giving you time to prepare emotionally and mentally before engaging with others. When you are calm and centered, your interactions are more thoughtful and meaningful. You bring your best self to conversations and responsibilities, enhancing connection and collaboration. For many successful people, waking early is a cornerstone habit. It's not about being a morning person naturally, but about training yourself to start the day proactively. This habit creates consistency in actions and mindset, which compounds into significant achievements over time. The regularity of an early start builds momentum that propels you forward, even when motivation is low. Implementing an early wake-up routine also involves managing evening habits. Reducing screen time before bed, avoiding heavy meals late at night, and creating a relaxing environment improve your ability to fall asleep and rest deeply. These evening rituals complement your morning routine, creating a holistic cycle that supports your energy and focus. The sense of accomplishment that comes from waking early builds confidence. It's a daily win that strengthens your belief in your ability to make positive choices. This growing confidence makes it easier to tackle challenges and pursue ambitious goals. You begin to see yourself as someone who takes control and moves steadily toward success. Early risers often report greater creativity and problem-solving ability. The calm morning hours allow space for reflection and new ideas. This mental clarity enables you to approach challenges with fresh perspectives and innovative solutions. By waking early, you create the conditions for breakthrough thinking and continuous improvement. Waking early aligns your life with natural rhythms and fosters balance. It helps you avoid the stress of rushing and multitasking, which drain energy and focus. Instead, you cultivate a pace that is deliberate and sustainable. This balance supports both high performance and well-being, key ingredients for lasting success. You don't have to wake early perfectly every day to benefit. The goal is consistency over time, not perfection. When you slip, return to your routine without judgment. Each morning is a new chance to practice discipline and intention. This attitude builds resilience and keeps you moving forward. Starting your day early with purpose is an investment in your future. It's a habit that compounds, producing results far beyond the initial effort. By waking early, you create space to develop yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. You set a tone of ownership and progress that shapes every hour that follows. Taking control of your mornings is taking control of your life. It's a choice that demands commitment, but rewards you with time, clarity, and momentum. This choice distinguishes those who live by default from those who design their days and their destinies. Waking early is more than a habit. It's a foundation for building a winning routine that supports every aspect of your success. Chapter 14. Protect your energy by saying no with strength. Protecting your energy is essential for sustained progress and well-being. Saying no with strength is a powerful skill that guards your focus and preserves your mental and emotional reserves. This practice is not about being rude or dismissive, but about honoring your priorities and boundaries. Every yes you give to something less important takes time and energy away from what truly matters. Learning to say no confidently ensures you allocate your resources to actions and relationships that support your goals. It's a form of self-respect that communicates clearly to yourself and others what you value most. When you say no with conviction, you reclaim control over your life. Many people struggle with this because they fear disappointing others or missing opportunities, but saying yes to everything leads to overwhelm, stress, and burnout. By contrast, saying no with clarity protects your ability to perform at your best. It creates space for deep work, rest, and meaningful connections. This skill sharpens your focus and increases your effectiveness because you invest your energy where it counts. Setting boundaries by saying no requires awareness of your limits. It demands understanding what drains you versus what energizes you. When you recognize your capacity, it becomes easier to make decisions that preserve your well-being. This awareness prevents overcommitment and the scattered attention that undermines progress. It also fosters balance between ambition and self-care, which is crucial for long-term success. Saying no firmly often challenges social expectations. Many cultures encourage people-pleasing and equate saying no with selfishness. Overcoming this mindset means realizing that protecting your energy benefits not only yourself, but those who rely on you. When you are clear about your limits and guard your focus, you show up more fully and effectively in your commitments. This honesty strengthens relationships because it sets realistic expectations and fosters mutual respect. Practicing saying no builds your confidence. Each time you decline a request that doesn't align with your goals or values, you reinforce your ability to prioritize yourself without guilt. This confidence grows into a habit that becomes second nature. It also reduces anxiety about disappointing others because you know your boundaries are necessary for your success and health. Effective no statements are simple and direct. You don't need lengthy explanations or apologies. Clear communication avoids misunderstandings and respects everyone's time. For example, saying "I can't take this on right now," or "this doesn't fit with my current priorities," conveys your decision without room for negotiation or guilt. Practicing this directness prevents emotional exhaustion caused by over-explaining or defending your choices. Saying no with strength includes recognizing when to say no to internal pressures. Sometimes the hardest no is the one directed at your own impulses to procrastinate, indulge distractions, or overextend yourself. Protecting your energy means rejecting habits and thoughts that drain motivation and focus. This internal boundary is just as important as external ones and requires discipline and self-awareness. Learning to say no also involves developing empathy for yourself. Understand that saying no is an act of self-preservation, not selfishness. When you honor your limits, you create conditions for growth, creativity, and resilience. This mindset reduces stress and builds emotional strength. It empowers you to face challenges with a clear and rested mind. The process of setting boundaries may initially feel uncomfortable. You might face resistance or pushback from others unaccustomed to hearing no. It's important to stay calm and consistent in your response. Over time, people will respect your limits and value your honesty. This consistency reinforces your identity as someone who respects themselves and their goals. You can practice saying no in small ways to build strength. Start with minor requests or invitations that you don't want to accept. Use these moments to practice polite but firm refusals. Gradually, this builds your capacity to say no to bigger demands. This incremental approach reduces fear and increases your comfort with boundary setting. Protecting your energy also means evaluating the types of commitments you say yes to. Align your choices with your highest priorities and values. This alignment creates coherence in your actions and reduces wasted effort. It helps you say no without regret, because you know you're focusing on what matters most. Being clear about your goals simplifies saying no. When you have a defined vision, it's easier to identify what supports or detracts from your progress. This clarity acts as a filter that guides your decisions. Saying no becomes an affirmation of your purpose rather than a rejection of others. You can also use no as a tool for time management. Saying no to low-value activities frees up time for deep work and rest. This time is an investment that pays dividends in productivity and creativity. It helps you maintain energy for the tasks that move you forward. Saying no strengthens your resilience by protecting you from burnout. Burnout occurs when demands exceed your resources consistently. By setting limits, you preserve your mental and physical health. This preservation allows you to sustain effort over the long term without sacrificing well-being. When you say no with strength, you model healthy behavior for others. Your example encourages those around you to respect their own limits and prioritize effectively. This ripple effect creates a culture of respect and balance in your personal and professional circles. Learning to say no also improves your decision-making skills. It forces you to evaluate requests critically and choose based on strategic considerations rather than impulse or pressure. This critical evaluation sharpens your judgment and helps you avoid distractions that dilute your focus. You protect your energy by being selective about the people and environments you engage with. Saying no extends beyond tasks to include invitations, social engagements, and even mental inputs. Guarding your energy involves curating your experiences to support your goals and well-being. Recognize that saying no is an ongoing practice. Your boundaries may shift as your goals and circumstances evolve. Regularly reassess what demands your energy and adjust your no's accordingly. This adaptability ensures your energy protection remains effective and aligned with your growth. Saying no with strength frees you to say yes to what matters most. It creates room for passion projects, meaningful relationships, and personal growth. This freedom is essential for living a life of purpose and fulfillment. Protecting your energy by saying no empowers you to live intentionally. It clarifies your priorities, builds confidence, and preserves your capacity to perform at your best. This skill is foundational for anyone serious about success and personal growth. Chapter 15. Learn from failure without blaming or quitting. Failure is an inevitable part of any meaningful journey, and learning from it without blaming or quitting is the foundation of true growth. The moment you encounter failure, the way you respond shapes your entire future. It's natural to feel disappointment or frustration, but these emotions must not lead to giving up or pointing fingers. Instead, failure offers valuable information if you choose to see it clearly and objectively. Embracing this perspective turns setbacks into stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. When failure occurs, it's essential to pause and assess what happened without assigning blame. Blame clouds judgment and keeps you stuck in a cycle of negativity. It externalizes responsibility, which weakens your control over the situation. By reframing failure as a neutral event to learn from, you take ownership of your response. This ownership empowers you to identify specific lessons that guide your next steps. Each failure becomes a feedback loop that refines your approach and builds resilience. Quitting is often a response to fear disguised as rational thinking. It arises when the pain of failure feels too great, or when doubt overpowers hope. Learning not to quit means developing mental toughness, the ability to face discomfort and persist despite obstacles. Persistence is not blind stubbornness. It is deliberate commitment, grounded in understanding that progress requires effort and occasional missteps. This mindset separates those who achieve lasting success from those who give up too soon. To learn effectively from failure, focus on asking the right questions. Instead of who is to blame or why me, ask what can I improve and what did this teach me? These questions direct your energy toward constructive analysis rather than self-pity or defensiveness. They invite curiosity and problem-solving, which are essential for growth. The answers you find create a roadmap for adaptation and future success. It's helpful to create a system for reflecting on failure. Writing down what happened, how you felt, and what you learned anchors your insights. This process externalizes your thoughts and prevents emotional overwhelm. It also creates a record you can revisit to see your progress and patterns. Reflection turns emotional reactions into actionable plans and emotional clarity. Another important aspect is separating your identity from your failures. Your mistakes do not define who you are. This distinction allows you to maintain self-respect and motivation. When you internalize failure as a reflection of your character or worth, you risk discouragement and withdrawal. Instead, see failure as a temporary outcome of specific actions that you can change. This mindset keeps you moving forward without fear of judgment. Learning from failure requires humility. It demands acknowledging that you don't have all the answers and that improvement is always possible. This humility opens the door to growth by making you receptive to feedback and new ideas. It helps you avoid defensiveness that blocks learning. When you accept that failure is part of the process, you reduce anxiety and build confidence in your ability to adapt. Facing failure with honesty strengthens your problem-solving skills. You become more analytical about what went wrong and more creative about how to fix it. This analytical approach transforms emotional setbacks into intellectual challenges. It encourages experimentation and innovation, which accelerate progress. Failure also teaches patience. Real change rarely happens overnight. It requires repeated effort and adjustment. When you learn from failure without quitting, you develop endurance that sustains long-term goals. This endurance separates fleeting efforts from lasting achievement. Developing a growth mindset is crucial for handling failure constructively. This mindset views abilities and intelligence as qualities that can be developed through effort. It contrasts with a fixed mindset that sees failure as proof of limitations. A growth mindset fuels resilience by turning challenges into opportunities for development. It encourages taking risks and embracing failures as valuable experiences. Failure provides clarity about your true goals and motivations. When a particular approach or path fails repeatedly, it invites you to reevaluate your direction. This reevaluation is not defeat, but strategic adjustment. It helps you align your actions with your deeper purpose, increasing the likelihood of fulfillment and success. Support systems play a key role in learning from failure. Surrounding yourself with people who encourage persistence and offer constructive feedback helps you maintain perspective. They remind you of your strengths and potential when discouragement arises. Positive support buffers the emotional impact of failure and reinforces commitment to your journey. Avoid comparing your failures to others' successes. Everyone's path is unique, and comparison fuels discouragement and impatience. Focus on your progress and lessons instead. This focus maintains your motivation and respects your individual growth timeline. Practice self-compassion during failures. Being kind to yourself reduces stress and prevents the cycle of negative self-talk that hampers recovery. Compassion provides emotional balance that supports clear thinking and effective problem-solving. It creates a safe inner environment where you can explore mistakes without fear. Learning from failure sharpens your ability to anticipate and manage risks. It teaches you to prepare better and make informed decisions. This proactive approach reduces the likelihood of repeated mistakes and builds confidence in handling uncertainty. Failure is an opportunity to develop creativity and flexibility. When one path fails, you are forced to consider alternatives. This necessity cultivates innovative thinking and adaptability. These qualities are vital for navigating complex challenges and evolving environments. Taking incremental steps after failure is more effective than drastic changes. Small adjustments allow you to test ideas without overwhelming risk. This iterative process builds confidence and momentum while minimizing setbacks. Celebrate the courage it takes to face failure and continue. Acknowledge your efforts and commitment to growth. This recognition reinforces positive behavior and motivates you to keep moving forward. Learning from failure without blaming or quitting transforms obstacles into valuable lessons. It builds resilience, sharpens skills, and deepens self-awareness. This approach empowers you to navigate setbacks with clarity and confidence, making failure an essential part of your path to success. Chapter 16. Visualize success daily to train your mindset. Visualizing success daily is a powerful practice that shapes your mindset and guides your actions toward achieving your goals. This mental exercise involves creating a clear and vivid picture of what success looks like for you. When you consistently imagine yourself succeeding, your brain begins to accept that reality as possible and achievable. This process rewires your subconscious mind, making it easier to recognize opportunities and overcome obstacles. Visualization is not wishful thinking, but a deliberate way to train your focus and motivation. By visualizing success every day, you reinforce your commitment to your goals. It becomes a daily reminder of what you are working toward and why it matters. This clarity fuels persistence, especially during difficult times when motivation wanes. Seeing your success clearly in your mind makes the effort feel worthwhile and strengthens your resolve. The mental images you create act as a compass, guiding your decisions and behaviors in alignment with your vision. Effective visualization requires engaging all your senses. Instead of merely picturing a vague outcome, immerse yourself in the details. Imagine how success looks, sounds, feels, smells, and even tastes. This sensory richness makes the experience more realistic and emotionally impactful. For example, if your goal is to give a confident presentation, visualize standing on stage, hearing your voice steady and clear, feeling the warmth of the spotlight, and noticing the engaged expressions of your audience. This vivid mental rehearsal prepares you emotionally and physically to perform at your best. Visualization helps reduce anxiety and build confidence. When you mentally practice success, you become familiar with the sensations and emotions associated with achievement. This familiarity decreases fear of the unknown and builds a sense of control. Instead of approaching challenges with doubt, you approach them with calm assurance. Visualization creates a mental blueprint that your brain uses to prepare your body and mind for real-life execution. To make visualization effective, consistency is key. Dedicate time each day, preferably in the morning or before sleep, to engage in this practice. Find a quiet place where you can focus without distractions. Close your eyes and take deep breaths to relax. Then deliberately create your success scene in your mind. The more regularly you practice, the stronger the neural connections become. This regularity turns visualization from a simple exercise into a habit that shapes your daily mindset. Pair visualization with positive affirmations to deepen its impact. Affirmations are positive statements that reinforce your belief in your abilities and goals. When combined with mental images, affirmations strengthen the message your subconscious receives. For instance, while visualizing a successful business meeting, repeat affirmations like "I am confident and prepared" or "I communicate clearly and effectively." This dual approach enhances self-belief and primes you for action. Visualization also improves problem-solving skills. By imagining yourself navigating potential obstacles and finding solutions, you mentally prepare for challenges. This rehearsal reduces surprise and stress when real difficulties arise. You develop a proactive mindset that expects setbacks but is ready to adapt. Visualizing success includes visualizing resilience and persistence, which are essential qualities for long-term achievement. Avoid passive daydreaming and instead engage actively with your visualization. Focus on specific goals and outcomes rather than vague wishes. Make your mental images detailed and dynamic, including actions you will take to reach success. For example, if your goal is fitness, visualize yourself performing workouts with strength and endurance, feeling energized and reaching milestones. This active involvement bridges the gap between imagination and reality. Visualization shapes your beliefs about what is possible. It challenges limiting thoughts by presenting success as attainable and natural. When your mind regularly experiences positive outcomes, it shifts away from fear and doubt. This shift opens the door to creativity and ambition, allowing you to set higher goals and pursue them with confidence. This practice also enhances motivation by connecting your daily efforts to a meaningful future. When you see the rewards of your hard work clearly, you are more likely to stay disciplined. Visualization makes abstract goals tangible, transforming them from distant dreams into immediate priorities. This connection sustains energy and focus, even when progress is slow. Another benefit of visualization is its ability to align your subconscious desires with conscious goals. Often, inner doubts or conflicting beliefs sabotage progress. By consciously creating mental images of success, you overwrite these negative patterns. This alignment harmonizes your thoughts, emotions, and actions, creating a unified drive toward achievement. Visualization influences your behavior outside of mental practice. When you see yourself succeeding, you begin to act in ways consistent with that image. You make choices that support your vision and avoid behaviors that contradict it. This alignment between thought and action accelerates progress and builds momentum. You can enhance visualization by incorporating gratitude. Visualize not only success but also appreciation for the journey and resources available. This gratitude creates a positive emotional state that attracts opportunities and strengthens resilience. It reminds you that success is a process supported by effort, learning, and connection. Tracking your visualization progress can deepen your engagement. Keep a journal to record your mental images, feelings, and any insights gained during practice. Reflecting on this journal helps identify patterns, reinforce learning, and maintain motivation. It also provides evidence of your growing belief and commitment. Visualization is a skill that improves with practice. At first, it might feel challenging to create detailed images or maintain focus. Be patient and persistent. Over time, your ability to visualize becomes sharper and more natural. This growth enhances the overall effectiveness of the practice. Integrating visualization with other success habits multiplies its benefits. Combine it with goal setting, planning, and daily action to create a comprehensive system for achievement. Visualization serves as the mental foundation that supports consistent effort and strategic decisions. Avoid using visualization as an escape from reality. It should complement hard work, not replace it. Success requires both dreaming and doing. Visualization prepares you mentally and emotionally, while deliberate action brings your vision to life. Visualization nurtures optimism and hope. It keeps your mind oriented toward possibilities rather than limitations. This positive orientation creates a fertile ground for innovation, collaboration, and growth. When you believe success is possible, you are more willing to take risks and embrace challenges. Your brain cannot distinguish vividly imagined experiences from real ones. This neurological fact makes visualization a powerful tool for change. By repeatedly experiencing success mentally, you train your brain to recognize it as normal. This training creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where your mindset and actions align to produce real success. Visualization also improves focus by clarifying what matters most. It filters distractions and sharpens your attention on your priorities. This clarity prevents wasted effort and keeps you moving steadily toward your objectives. Practice visualization as an act of faith in your potential. Trust that the effort you invest in mental training will yield results. This trust reinforces patience and perseverance, essential qualities for overcoming obstacles and sustaining progress. Incorporate visualization into your daily routine to anchor your mindset. Use it as a tool to start the day with purpose or to prepare for important tasks and decisions. This ritual builds mental strength and resilience that carry you through challenges. Visualizing success daily trains your mindset to expect and create achievement. It transforms abstract goals into living realities and aligns your thoughts, emotions, and actions. This practice empowers you to approach life with clarity, confidence, and determination, accelerating your journey toward meaningful success. Chapter 17. Challenge negative thoughts with strong positive truth. Negative thoughts can quietly undermine progress and confidence if they are left unchallenged. Challenging these thoughts with strong positive truths is a vital practice to build a resilient and successful mindset. The first step is recognizing negative thoughts as they arise, rather than letting them take root unnoticed. Awareness brings the power to question and transform these internal narratives before they dictate your emotions and actions. Negative thoughts often exaggerate problems or assume the worst outcomes without evidence. They create a distorted reality that fuels fear, doubt, and hesitation. When you actively challenge these thoughts, you replace distorted assumptions with facts and empowering beliefs. This replacement shifts your mental landscape from limitation to possibility. Strong positive truths serve as anchors of reality that ground your thinking in confidence and clarity. It helps to identify specific negative thoughts and write them down. This externalization creates distance from them and allows objective examination. Ask yourself whether the thought is true, exaggerated, or entirely false. Reflect on evidence that contradicts the negativity. This practice weakens the automatic acceptance of harmful beliefs and strengthens your critical thinking. Strong positive truths are statements grounded in your strengths, achievements, and potential. They remind you of what you have already accomplished and what you are capable of achieving. For example, if a negative thought says, "I always fail," a strong positive truth counters, "I have succeeded before and learned valuable lessons from setbacks." These truths build a foundation of self-respect and motivation that resists negative thinking. Repetition is key to embedding positive truths. The mind naturally leans toward habitual thoughts, so replacing negativity requires consistent effort. Repeat your positive affirmations daily, especially when negative thoughts appear. This persistence rewires your brain over time, creating new neural pathways that support optimism and resilience. It's important to challenge negative thoughts with compassion rather than judgment. Negative thinking is often a defense mechanism rooted in fear or past experiences. Responding with kindness reduces internal conflict and opens space for change. Treat yourself as you would a close friend who needs encouragement and understanding. Visualization can enhance the power of positive truths. Imagine yourself embodying the qualities these truths represent. See yourself overcoming challenges, succeeding in your goals, and acting with confidence. This mental rehearsal strengthens your belief in these positive statements and prepares you to act accordingly. When negative thoughts appear, pause and take a deep breath. This moment of calm creates distance and prevents reactive emotional responses. Then consciously introduce a strong positive truth. This practice interrupts the automatic flow of negativity and restores balance to your thinking. Surround yourself with reminders of your positive truths. This can include notes, quotes, or mementos that reflect your values and achievements. Physical cues reinforce your mental work and serve as encouragement throughout the day. Developing a mindset that challenges negativity also means managing your exposure to external negativity. Limit time spent with people or in environments that reinforce harmful beliefs. Seek out positive influences that support your growth and reinforce your strengths. Engage in activities that build confidence and competence. Success in real-world actions strengthens positive truths and weakens doubts. As you accomplish goals, no matter how small, your internal dialogue becomes more supportive and realistic. When strong negative thoughts persist, question their usefulness. Are these thoughts protecting you or holding you back? Often negativity disguises fear of failure or change. Recognizing this pattern empowers you to choose courage and growth over comfort and limitation. Create a habit of journaling to track negative thoughts and the positive truths that counter them. This ongoing practice increases self-awareness and documents your progress. Over time, you will see a shift in your mindset and greater control over your internal dialogue. Challenge negative thoughts by focusing on solutions rather than problems. Replace worry and self-doubt with proactive planning and problem-solving. This shift moves your energy toward constructive action and reduces feelings of helplessness. Use your breath and body to anchor yourself when negativity arises. Techniques such as deep breathing, grounding exercises, or mindful movement calm your nervous system and create space for clear thinking. Physical calm supports mental clarity needed to introduce positive truths effectively. Remember that challenging negative thoughts is a skill that improves with practice. Early attempts may feel awkward or ineffective. Persist with patience and commitment, knowing that each effort strengthens your mental resilience. Celebrate victories over negativity, no matter how small. Every time you replace a harmful thought with a positive truth, you reinforce a habit that shapes your mindset. This celebration builds momentum and confidence to face future challenges. Challenge negative thoughts by embracing curiosity. Ask yourself why you believe a certain thought and whether it is serving your goals. This inquiry encourages openness and reduces rigid thinking patterns. Recognize that some negative thoughts are distortions based on past trauma or misinformation. When these arise, seek support from trusted mentors, coaches, or professionals who can help you reframe and heal. External guidance complements your internal work. Use language deliberately when introducing positive truths. Choose words that inspire strength, growth, and possibility. Avoid vague or weak statements, and instead craft affirmations that feel authentic and powerful to you. Challenge negative thoughts by focusing on your progress rather than perfection. Recognize that setbacks and mistakes are part of learning and growth. This perspective reduces harsh self-criticism and encourages persistence. Strong positive truths should be personal and relevant. Generic affirmations may lack impact. Tailor your truths to reflect your unique strengths, values, and aspirations for maximum effect. In moments of doubt, remind yourself of past experiences where you overcame difficulty. These memories serve as evidence that you possess resilience and capability. Drawing on this history reinforces positive truths and combats negativity. Challenge negative thoughts by adopting a future-oriented mindset. Instead of dwelling on past mistakes or fears, focus on the possibilities ahead. This orientation fuels hope and motivation. Develop a supportive inner dialogue that balances realism with optimism. Acknowledge challenges honestly, but affirm your ability to navigate them successfully. This balanced approach fosters confidence without denial. Challenge negative thoughts by practicing gratitude. Focusing on what you appreciate shifts your attention away from scarcity and limitation. Gratitude creates a positive emotional state, conducive to strong positive thinking. Remember that thoughts are not facts. They are mental events that can be observed, questioned, and changed. This understanding liberates you from the automatic influence of negative thinking and empowers you to choose positive truths. Building the habit of challenging negative thoughts with strong positive truth transforms your mindset into a source of strength and clarity. It enables you to face obstacles with confidence, make decisions aligned with your goals, and cultivate resilience that supports lifelong success. This mental discipline is a cornerstone of personal growth and a vital tool for attracting success in your life. Chapter 18. Give more than you take in every relationship. Giving more than you take in every relationship builds a foundation of trust and mutual respect that fosters growth and fulfillment. This principle is rooted in generosity, not just of material things, but of time, attention, kindness, and support. When you approach relationships with a mindset of giving first, you create positive energy that naturally attracts deeper connections and enriches your life. This approach moves beyond transactional exchanges and cultivates authentic bonds based on genuine care. Consistently giving more requires awareness of others' needs and a willingness to act without expecting immediate returns. It means listening actively, offering help freely, and being present even when it's inconvenient. This generosity shows that you value others beyond what they can offer you. It establishes a reputation of reliability and compassion, which draws people to you and opens doors for collaborative success. Giving more also means investing emotionally and mentally. Sharing encouragement, empathy, and honest feedback strengthens relationships. When you give encouragement, you empower others to grow and succeed. Empathy fosters understanding and reduces conflicts. Honest feedback delivered respectfully supports improvement and trust. These contributions deepen connections and create a supportive network where everyone thrives. Being generous with your time is one of the most valuable gifts you can offer. Time is finite, and when you prioritize spending it with others, it demonstrates commitment and respect. This can mean offering to listen during difficult moments, celebrating achievements together, or simply being a consistent presence. Such actions build loyalty and a sense of belonging that withstands challenges. Giving more also involves sharing knowledge and resources. When you share what you know or have, you enable others to advance and overcome obstacles. This act creates a ripple effect of empowerment and cooperation. The more you contribute in this way, the more you become a trusted source and connector, which benefits your personal and professional life. It's important to balance giving with healthy boundaries. Giving more does not mean depleting yourself or tolerating disrespect. Healthy generosity includes knowing when to say no and protecting your own well-being. This balance ensures that your giving remains sustainable and authentic, rather than becoming a source of resentment or exhaustion. Practicing gratitude alongside giving amplifies the impact of generosity. When you appreciate what others bring to your life, your giving becomes more heartfelt and joyful. Gratitude shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, making generosity a natural expression of your mindset. Giving more creates a positive feedback loop. The energy and goodwill you put into relationships often return in unexpected ways. This return is not guaranteed or immediate, but over time it strengthens your support system and opportunities. Generosity cultivates goodwill that attracts help, kindness, and collaboration. Approach every relationship as an opportunity to contribute meaningfully. Look for ways to add value in small daily interactions, whether it's offering a kind word, a helping hand, or simply being attentive. These consistent acts accumulate to create a culture of generosity that others notice and appreciate. When challenges arise in relationships, giving more can diffuse tension and rebuild trust. Responding with patience and understanding instead of defensiveness helps maintain connection. Generosity in difficult times signals commitment and maturity, strengthening the bond beyond superficial interactions. Giving more also enhances your own sense of purpose and fulfillment. Serving others nurtures positive emotions such as happiness, pride, and belonging. This emotional reward reinforces the habit of generosity and motivates continued growth in relationships. Being generous with your attention means truly focusing on others without distraction. In a world full of interruptions, giving someone your full presence is a rare and powerful gift. This focus creates deep understanding and meaningful exchanges that enrich both parties. Generosity is contagious. When you give more, you inspire others to do the same. This ripple effect transforms communities and workplaces into supportive environments where everyone contributes their best. Your example sets a standard that encourages cooperation and kindness. In professional settings, giving more than you take builds strong networks and opens doors to new possibilities. Helping colleagues without expectation creates goodwill that leads to collaboration and career advancement. This generosity signals leadership and integrity, qualities that attract success. Giving more in relationships also means forgiving and letting go of grudges. Holding on to resentment drains energy and blocks connection. Forgiveness frees you to focus on positive contributions and growth. It creates space for healing and renewed trust. Develop the habit of noticing opportunities to give beyond what is expected. This mindset shifts relationships from obligations to meaningful exchanges, giving beyond expectations surprises and delights others, strengthening your influence and likability. Giving more encourages humility. It reminds you that relationships are not about personal gain, but shared growth. This humility fosters openness and receptivity, allowing you to learn from others and evolve. Generosity enhances communication. When your intent is to give, your words and tone become more positive and constructive. This approach reduces misunderstandings and builds rapport, making interactions smoother and more productive. Giving more nurtures patience. Relationships take time to develop and require ongoing effort. Generosity sustains your commitment during slow or challenging periods, reinforcing your dedication to mutual success. Acts of giving create memorable experiences. Whether through small gestures or significant support, your contributions leave lasting impressions that deepen emotional bonds. These memories build a reservoir of goodwill that strengthens relationships over time. Giving more also means being accountable and dependable. Following through on promises and being reliable communicates respect and integrity. This consistency builds trust and makes you a valued partner in any relationship. Recognize that giving is not always about grand gestures. Small, consistent acts often have greater impact than occasional large ones. Daily kindness and support accumulate into powerful, lasting connections. Giving more challenges a mindset of scarcity and competition. It shifts focus toward abundance and collaboration. This shift fosters environments where creativity, support, and shared success flourish. Develop a habit of reflecting on your relationships regularly. Consider how much you are giving and whether it aligns with your values and goals. This reflection guides intentional and balanced generosity. Giving more helps break down barriers of distrust and defensiveness. When generosity is genuine, it invites openness and vulnerability. These qualities deepen connection and understanding, essential for meaningful relationships. Being generous with your praise and recognition encourages growth and morale. Acknowledging others' efforts motivates them and strengthens mutual respect. Giving more requires courage to be vulnerable and authentic. It involves risking rejection or misunderstanding in order to offer your true self. This courage fosters genuine connection and personal growth. Ultimately, giving more than you take transforms relationships into sources of strength and inspiration. It creates a cycle of generosity that enriches your life and the lives of others. This principle lays the foundation for success not just individually but collectively, cultivating a life of meaning, connection, and fulfillment. Chapter 19. Choose long-term growth over short-term comfort. Choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort is one of the most powerful decisions that shapes the course of your life. It requires the willingness to face challenges, endure discomfort, and make sacrifices today for a stronger, more fulfilling tomorrow. This choice distinguishes those who achieve lasting success from those who settle for temporary ease. Growth demands patience and persistence because real transformation never happens overnight. Comfort, while appealing, often keeps you stuck in familiar patterns that limit your potential. The temptation of short-term comfort is strong because it offers immediate relief from stress, effort, or uncertainty. It feels good in the moment to avoid difficult tasks, procrastinate, or remain within your comfort zone. However, this ease is often deceptive. It creates a false sense of security that prevents you from reaching your true capabilities. Choosing growth means embracing discomfort as a necessary part of progress. This discomfort signals that you are stretching beyond old limits and expanding your skills and resilience. Long-term growth is a mindset that prioritizes future benefits over instant gratification. It requires setting clear goals and committing to consistent effort. When you focus on growth, you see setbacks not as failures, but as valuable lessons that refine your approach. This perspective helps you stay motivated during tough times because you understand that short-term pain leads to long-term gain. One of the most effective ways to choose growth is by developing daily habits that challenge your limits. These habits might include waking up early, exercising regularly, learning new skills, or managing your time intentionally. Each small action compounds over time, creating momentum toward your goals. Consistency in these practices builds character and discipline, qualities essential for sustainable success. Choosing growth also involves making tough decisions about where to invest your energy and resources. It means saying no to distractions, toxic relationships, and easy pleasures that derail your progress. This selective focus ensures that your efforts align with your vision for the future. It also protects your mental and emotional well-being by avoiding burnout and overwhelm. Mental toughness is critical when pursuing long-term growth. You will encounter obstacles and moments of doubt, but resilience allows you to keep moving forward. Developing mental toughness means cultivating self-awareness, managing stress, and maintaining a positive attitude. Techniques such as mindfulness, journaling, and visualization support this growth mindset by keeping your focus clear and your emotions balanced. Another important aspect is learning to delay gratification. This skill is essential because it enables you to resist impulses that provide immediate pleasure but undermine your goals. For example, choosing to study instead of watching TV or saving money instead of spending it on unnecessary items strengthens your ability to prioritize long-term rewards. This discipline becomes easier with practice and self-reflection. Embracing failure as part of the growth process is crucial. Fear of failure often drives people toward comfort and avoidance. However, failure provides feedback that guides improvement. Those who choose growth understand that every mistake is an opportunity to learn and adapt. This attitude transforms setbacks into stepping stones toward success. Surrounding yourself with people who support long-term growth enhances your ability to stay committed. Positive influences provide encouragement, accountability, and inspiration. They remind you of your goals when comfort tempts you to stray. Building a community that values growth reinforces your resolve and expands your perspectives. Mindset shifts play a vital role in prioritizing growth. Moving from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset helps you see potential in challenges and effort. This shift allows you to embrace learning and change instead of fearing them. With a growth mindset, discomfort becomes a sign of progress rather than a signal to retreat. Goal setting aligned with long-term growth involves breaking large ambitions into manageable milestones. This approach keeps you motivated by providing regular achievements and clear direction. Tracking progress helps maintain focus and allows adjustments when needed. Celebrating small wins fuels enthusiasm and reinforces your commitment. Physical health supports your ability to choose growth over comfort. Proper nutrition, exercise, and rest provide the energy and mental clarity needed to tackle challenges. Neglecting your body for short-term indulgence can undermine your capacity for sustained effort and resilience. Time management is another key factor. Prioritizing activities that contribute to growth requires planning and discipline. Avoiding procrastination and distractions frees up space for meaningful work. Structured routines create stability and reduce decision fatigue, allowing you to conserve willpower for important tasks. Self-compassion helps sustain long-term growth by preventing burnout and discouragement. Recognize that growth is a journey with ups and downs. Treat yourself with kindness during setbacks and avoid harsh self-criticism. This balanced approach maintains motivation and preserves mental health. Financial discipline often reflects the choice between growth and comfort. Saving and investing, rather than spending impulsively, builds security and opportunities. This practice requires patience but results in freedom and options for the future. Continuous learning fuels long-term growth. Seek knowledge, skills, and experiences that expand your capabilities. This commitment to learning keeps you adaptable in a changing world and opens new paths for success. Reflection is essential for choosing growth. Regularly evaluate your progress, habits, and mindset. Honest self-assessment identifies areas for improvement and reinforces positive changes. Reflection also clarifies your purpose and renews your motivation. Visualizing the future you want creates a powerful incentive to choose growth. When you vividly imagine the benefits of your efforts, the discomfort of today feels worthwhile. This mental picture keeps your focus on what truly matters. Taking responsibility for your growth means accepting that your choices shape your life. This ownership empowers you to make deliberate decisions and take control of your destiny. Blaming external factors only diverts energy from constructive action. Building patience supports long-term growth by helping you endure delays and obstacles without losing enthusiasm. Patience allows you to maintain steady progress rather than seeking quick fixes or shortcuts that undermine results. Choosing growth encourages humility by acknowledging that you don't have all the answers and that improvement is ongoing. This openness fosters learning and collaboration, which enrich your journey. Adopting a proactive attitude means anticipating challenges and preparing solutions rather than reacting passively. This foresight increases your chances of success and reduces stress. Recognizing the difference between urgent and important tasks guides your focus toward meaningful activities that drive growth. Prioritizing importance over urgency prevents distraction by trivial matters. Celebrating progress fuels motivation and reminds you of your capabilities. Recognition of effort builds confidence and encourages perseverance. Long-term growth over short-term comfort is a mindset that transforms how you approach life. It requires courage, discipline, and vision. By committing to growth, you invest in a future filled with purpose and achievement that far outweighs fleeting ease. This choice empowers you to live intentionally, overcome adversity, and fulfill your potential every day. Chapter 20. Celebrate small wins to stay motivated and grounded. Every step forward in life deserves recognition, no matter how small it may seem. Celebrating small wins is a powerful strategy to maintain motivation and stay connected to your journey. These moments of acknowledgement create positive momentum that fuels continued effort and helps prevent burnout. When you pause to appreciate progress, you reinforce a mindset focused on growth and achievement. This practice keeps you grounded in reality, balancing ambition with gratitude and awareness. Small wins act as proof that your actions produce results. They remind you that success is built incrementally rather than through sudden leaps. Acknowledging these achievements helps combat feelings of discouragement that often arise when the end goal seems distant or overwhelming. Each victory, no matter its size, builds confidence and resilience, providing emotional fuel for the challenges ahead. Celebrating small wins means taking time to notice the progress you make daily. It can be as simple as completing a task, overcoming a personal hurdle, or making a healthy choice. These moments deserve recognition because they reflect your commitment and discipline. Marking these occasions reinforces positive behavior and makes your goals feel more attainable. This practice also shifts your focus from what is lacking to what has been accomplished. Instead of dwelling on shortcomings or unmet expectations, you cultivate appreciation for your efforts. This positive perspective reduces stress and builds a sense of satisfaction that sustains motivation over time. When you celebrate small wins, it's important to do so genuinely. Avoid rushing through achievements or dismissing them as insignificant. Take a moment to feel proud and acknowledge the work involved. This emotional connection deepens the impact of the celebration and strengthens your commitment. Sharing your small wins with others can amplify their effect. Telling a trusted friend, mentor, or community about your progress invites support and encouragement. This social reinforcement creates accountability and enhances your sense of belonging. Positive feedback from others validates your efforts and inspires continued growth. Creating rituals around celebrating small wins adds structure and meaning to your journey. This could include writing achievements in a journal, marking a calendar, or setting aside time for reflection. Rituals provide consistency and signal to your brain that progress is valuable and worth honoring. Recognizing small wins also helps in maintaining perspective. When setbacks occur, recalling previous successes reminds you of your ability to overcome difficulties. This balanced view prevents discouragement from derailing your progress and reinforces perseverance. Celebration need not be extravagant to be effective. Simple acknowledgements such as a moment of quiet reflection, a smile, or a self-affirming thought are powerful. These small acts of self-recognition accumulate to create a strong foundation of self-esteem and motivation. Acknowledging small wins encourages a growth mindset. It reinforces the belief that effort leads to improvement and that abilities can develop over time. This mindset supports continuous learning and adaptation, essential for long-term success. Celebration of progress also improves mental health. It boosts positive emotions such as joy, pride, and gratitude. These emotions counterbalance stress and anxiety, promoting well-being and a positive outlook. When you celebrate small wins, you train your brain to notice success instead of failure. This selective attention creates neural pathways associated with optimism and resilience. Over time, your brain becomes wired to seek and appreciate progress, enhancing motivation naturally. Celebrating small wins helps break large goals into manageable pieces. It makes long-term ambitions feel achievable by highlighting steady advancement. This approach reduces overwhelm and increases confidence. It's crucial to celebrate consistently, not just after major milestones. Regular acknowledgement of progress keeps motivation high and prevents feelings of stagnation. This steady reinforcement supports sustained effort and focus. Recognizing small wins supports better decision-making. When you see evidence of progress, you are more likely to continue with effective strategies and avoid discouragement that leads to poor choices. This clarity helps maintain alignment with your goals. Celebration strengthens self-discipline. Rewarding progress encourages the repetition of positive habits and behaviors. This cycle of action and recognition builds momentum towards success. Small wins also enhance creativity and problem-solving. Positive emotions associated with celebration broaden your thinking and increase flexibility. This openness leads to innovative approaches and improved outcomes. Celebrating achievements creates a sense of purpose and meaning. It connects your daily efforts to your larger vision and values. This connection motivates you to persist even when challenges arise. When you acknowledge progress, you build confidence in your abilities. This confidence empowers you to take on bigger challenges and step outside your comfort zone. It fuels a cycle of growth and achievement. Celebration helps manage stress by providing breaks from intense effort. These pauses recharge your energy and prevent burnout. They create balance and sustain long-term productivity. It's important to avoid linking celebration only to outcomes. Recognize effort and process as well. This focus on journey over destination nurtures patience and persistence. Celebrating small wins fosters gratitude. Appreciating your achievements cultivates a positive relationship with yourself. Gratitude reinforces motivation and well-being. Use celebration as a tool to track progress visually. Creating charts, lists, or journals of achievements provides tangible evidence of growth. This visual record boosts morale and guides future efforts. Acknowledging small wins encourages humility and self-awareness. It helps you see where you have improved and where further work is needed. This balanced self-view supports realistic goal setting and continuous development. Celebration of progress promotes emotional regulation. Positive reinforcement helps manage frustration and disappointment by balancing negative emotions with joy and satisfaction. Make celebration personal and meaningful. Choose ways that resonate with you and enhance your motivation. Personalization ensures celebration remains authentic and effective. Celebrate progress not only in yourself, but also in others. Recognizing others' achievements builds positive relationships and a supportive environment. This mutual encouragement enhances collective success. The habit of celebrating small wins creates a sustainable approach to motivation. It transforms hard work into a rewarding experience and reinforces a positive cycle of growth. By celebrating your progress regularly, you maintain momentum, stay grounded, and build the resilience needed for long-term success. This practice transforms the pursuit of goals into a fulfilling journey rich with meaning and joy. It keeps you connected to the present while moving steadily toward your highest potential.